24 teams showed up to the table when the USL Championship regular season started back in March. 8 have already busted out, and the other 16 are ready to go all in as the Las Vegas Lights host Sacramento Republic to open up the USL playoffs. And we're happy to have you with us tonight for this broadcast brought to you by LaUna 872 Laborers Union. Alongside MLS veteran Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Joe Malfa. A quick look at the bracket just to remind you of how things stand in the Western Conference, brought to you by La Bonita as we begin the playoffs here in 2024. The winner of this matchup gets the winner of Sunday's matchup between New Mexico United and Phoenix Rising. And Ricky, these two teams have already met twice this year, Vegas and Sacramento, and Vegas swept that season series.
They were tight and they were competitive, but notice the Las Vegas Lights, they scored both of their goals through wide parts of the field, and that's an area that Dennis Sanchez thinks that they can really exploit and ask questions of Sacramento Republic. So if you're Mark Briggs, I will not be surprised if we see them sit a little bit deeper and not be as aggressive. I do think those wide areas are going to be key here tonight.
And it was a truly historic regular season here for Las Vegas. Now the question is for Dennis Sanchez and crew, can they build on it into the playoffs?
And just so much credit to Dennis Sanchez to come into this 2024 campaign late with little to no preseason to press all the right buttons, not only collectively but individually, and they've been fantastic to end out this 2024 regular season.
And one of the best buttons he pressed was Valentin Noel, a player he was familiar with, bringing him over now to this roster, and he led the way in assists.
Just so smart, the spaces that he picks up. He's going to play as a number 10, so look for him to combine around the players within him. How good can he be and how quickly can he get into the rhythm? Valentin Noel needs to be the best player for Las Vegas Lights if they have any hope of moving on.
And this is a little bit of uncharted territory for Sacramento, Ricky. Under Mark Briggs over the last few years, they've typically been looked at as favorites. They come in now on the road, and maybe that underdog mentality will suit them because they haven't had that playoff success in recent years.
And that's the messaging if you're Mark Briggs. You go out and you say, look, there's no pressure on us. All the pressure is all on the Las Vegas Lights. You go out, you enjoy the moment, you play freely, and you express themselves. Expect the Sacramento Republic to ask a lot of questions. I do think in the first 10 to 15 minutes, it's going to be key. How quickly can they get themselves into this game?
And the most important player maybe in the 11 is Russell Cicerone, playing in that number 10 role here today.
How good can he be with his movement, running on beyond, whether it's Phillips or dropping in and being part of the build-up phase? Russell Cicerone needs to be active, and how clinical can he be in front of net? He needs to be really good for Sacramento Republic.
It's interesting, both head coaches, Dennis Sanchez for Las Vegas and Mark Briggs for Sacramento, sort of said the same thing. It's tough to beat a team 3 times in a season. Vegas swept the regular season series. Now Sacramento hopes to get revenge when it matters most. It's Las Vegas and Sacramento to open up the playoffs next.
Hey, bud. This doing nothing all day isn't good.
You should be out making friends.
Lots of friends.
Why? Huh? Because I'm not enough? By myself? Because you would love me more if I was always bringing over new money friends?
Yes.
It's called earning dividends, dear.
Get your money working with amazing certificate rates now at AmericaFirst.com.
Desert Radiology is the area's chief resource for the highest quality medical imaging and diagnostic care. We're proud to offer 11 conveniently located imaging centers across the valley. As a member of the community for over 50 years, Desert Radiology is proud to be the official imaging partner of the Las Vegas Lights. To learn more, visit desertrad.com. That's desertrad.com. Let's go Lights!
Mi raza bonita. Desde 1991 hemos compartido nuestras tradiciones mexicanas. Desde muy temprano, nuestros panaderos empiezan a elaborar los bolillos y el pan dulce. Y las tortillas todos los días salen calientitas. Le digo algo, mi raza bonita, lo que está hecho en La Bonita, está hecho en Las Vegas.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Laborers International, Great Clips, and America First Credit Union. Just about set to get things going here in the USL playoff, presented by Terminix. Game 1 of the month of November, all culminating in the final on November 23rd. It's Vegas and Sacramento. Take a look at the starting lineups. First brought to you by LaUna 872 Laborers Union on the Las Vegas side for Dennis Sanchez.
4-2-3-1 for the Las Vegas Lights. Charlie Adams and Ngannou, how good can they be in determining their balance, right? Adams might come a little bit deeper, so Ngannou will push up, and that will afford Valentin Noel just to go and search the game. Philippine zone and Asante. They need to be really good at their shape, but look for Sacramento Republic and Mark Briggs a little bit different, right? You want to get the right pieces on the field that he trusts. So Rodriguez, Portillo, Luis Felipe, how good can they be at staying at home? So now you have Ross on the left-hand side, but the key is going to be Russell Cicerone. Look for him to make those runs from inside out, but also to test the shape of Las Vegas Lights.
And we are ready to get things going here from Cashman in Vegas. It's Sacramento in the white, Vegas in the black. Game number 1 of the USL playoffs presented by Terminix. A team who's been a favorite pretty much every year the last couple of years, but fallen short in Sacramento. A newcomer in the Las Vegas Lights, and we're underway. Kickoff brought to you by America First Credit Union. Now we're underway in the playoffs after a little false start. Nobody could wait for it to begin, so much so we had a false start, and now we're underway in 2024. Happy to have you with us alongside Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa. All roads leading to November 23rd, USL Championship final. Will one of these two teams possibly represent? Sacramento has been longing for that trip to a final. They put that star above the crest back in 2014. Have not come as close as they would have hoped since then. There's been a heartbreak year after year within that, especially recently under Mark Briggs. They've gotten there. They got to an Open Cup final. They've gotten deep into the USL playoffs, but they've fallen short of lifting a trophy. Las Vegas Lights not just happy to be here. Yes, it's their first time, but legitimate threats to get through out of the West. If you polled 100 people about this Western Conference, especially with the way certain teams have come in form-wise, I think you have a pretty decent smattering of people who side with Vegas as a representative from the West.
They've just been so good on the back end of this season, what Dennis Andrews has been able to do, and the ability to change their shape throughout games and to suffer. They've been just fantastic from front to back, but you mentioned it, Joe. The Sacramento Republic side, they're hungry, they're motivated, and they have a full line of experience.
Here is Cicerone, brings some of that experience, whether it's been now the last couple of years for Sacramento or before with Pittsburgh. Sprawling play by Jabang, floated in over the top, looking for Ammon. It's interesting, the two-striker look here for Sacramento. Something they tinkered with this week, a decision made by Mark Briggs to shake things up a little bit. It's caught between wanting to shake things up and provide a spark, considering how poorly they finished in terms of their record, or to leave things as they were and see if eventually that team that started 11 unbeaten would shine through. Was able to tiptoe that line. Made some changes to the shape, but kept his trustworthy players out there and changed just enough for it to maybe provide a spark for the group.
And it's going to be really interesting to see what Phillips and Ammon can do in terms of their relationship, right? Both players want to be central. They both want to get on the end of the ball. So that's why I do think Russell Cicerone, his movement is going to be crucial. Really interesting set piece here for the visiting side.
Both coaches talked about set pieces when you get to knockout soccer. These could be the moments that end your season or propel you forward. Well, there's Sanchez, the left-footed option. Instead it's Portillo, good service. Stumble in there from Trevor Ammon, and now free kick goes Vegas' way. Take a look at tonight's keys to the game, brought to you by Silver State Schools Credit Union. What do you got for us, Ricky?
As for Las Vegas Lights, you need to have variation on the ball. It cannot just only be short, because that's going to force Sacramento Republic to be disruptive, right? So you need to be short, short, long, little changes in terms of your decision making. And for Sacramento Republic and Mark Briggs, Las Vegas, they want to get on the ball. So how good can you be in your defensive structure at winning your individual duels and winning that real estate battle?
And a look at tonight's injury report as well, brought to you by Desert Radiology. Some names on both sides, longer term for Roro Lopez, of course, and then Sebastian Herrera. The one we were watching was Malik Howell on the Vegas side. He was questionable, but he's not in the 11. He's not on the bench. That makes him out, obviously, and that is a big miss for Las Vegas. He's been vital to everything that they do on the back line.
Also, Jabang drops in next to Hafferty, so what does that relationship look like? Jabang can play in the midfield, but as of the last couple of weeks, we've seen him slot into that center back position, so he gives you luxury on the ball as well, decision making. So if there is a little bit of pressure, expect him to break lines with his passing.
Yeah, it's not like they're devoid of options. Very deep team, Vegas. So Charlie Adams slots in as a veteran midfielder in this league. He takes Jabang's spot. Jabang drops back to take Howell's spot. You could do worse. Great ball bent in. Now Bennett goes around Vitiello, keeps it alive. Breaking lines on that pass, Vegas. Almost catching Sacramento asleep at the wheel. Drop back in for Nigro. Further back for Ngando. Rather for Jabang. First good look for Vegas, trying to find Bennett in behind. And it was a 14-goal scorer this year. Gondo stumbled over the ball, play on.
And you'll notice as the Las Vegas Lights like to build out, both outside backs are going to be a little bit more central. So now you have a little bit of an overload to have these short passes, but it also gives both wide players the ability to provide the width, whether it is Pinzon on this near side and Asante on that far side.
Look out, Vitiello just has to get rid of it. Took a deflection, I believe, off of Bennett. But no, it just was mishit by Vitiello. Here's a look back at that chance that started the whole thing.
Just a variation we were talking about, how many players he takes out of this game with one ball. Heavy touch from Corey Bennett, but you just talk about the luxury to have Corey Bennett, the mobility. That's something we've really seen him grow through this 2024 campaign. Intentional, the space that he picks up, but the types of runs in around that 18-yard box as well.
And chatting with Dennis Sanchez, what he's most proud of with this team, yes, the records were there. Most wins, most points for the club. They had the unbeaten run. You name it, they did it this year as far as things that had never been done in this club's history. But what makes him the most proud is just the player development throughout the year. One of those players being a Corey Bennett who jumps up from USL League One, the double-digit goal scorer there, and instead of easing in or having to wait some time to get used to the level at USL Championship, comes in and scores 14 goals, and a lot of those goals came early in the year. So players like that have just developed throughout the season. Dennis Sanchez said he could rest his head easy on the pillow at night, even if they lose tonight, knowing how far this team came this year. See ebbs and flows to the possession, but typically it's Vegas dictating things. Sometimes it's been to their detriment. Last couple of games of the year, they lost against Oakland and North Carolina. Had about 70-30 possession in those games, but it was just moments on the counter where they were done in by Oakland and North Carolina. And again, Dennis Sanchez alluded to that in our conversation this week, not in any way discouraged by losing back-to-back games coming into the playoffs. Actually said it was better to get that out of their system when they did, and it just reminded them of what their weaknesses are. They're very well aware of those weaknesses. Sometimes it's transition defending, and sometimes it's allowing too many shots from distance, not closing down on your man. Both those losses, that's exactly how the goals were scored against them. So a wake-up call in a way of what you need to do, the finer margins coming into the playoffs.
And you look at this front three that Sacramento Republic has elected to play. Phillips, Emmett, Cicerone, all players that can be transitional, but can also pull up from distance. So it's a little bit of a tactical wrinkle from Mark Briggs. And so far, you can see that relationship. Moments like this are going to be really important for the Lights, changing the point of attack. And now you have an overload on that weak side.
Here's Solomon Asante, has playoff experience with Phoenix Rising. Drops it back, Sean Smart delivering toward Bennett. Awkward header away from Jared Timmer. Why not use your 2 feet there? Seemed like he misread it on the way down. Waiting and waiting for a diving header away, and he ended up face planting on the grass. Effective, albeit unorthodox in the end. He still got the job done.
He was committed to use his head on that clearance 100%. But it's interesting because we talk about, for Mark Briggs, now you have Luis Felipe and Justin Portillo. They need to be really disciplined at dropping back. And he got the job done, to be fair.
He did. It's not one for his highlight reel, but he got the job done. I just think he got the read of the spin wrong on that one. He felt like it was coming in hot. All of a sudden, you get a change up, but you'd already committed. Don't ask how it happens. We say that about goals all the time. Don't ask how they come, just that they do. Don't ask how the clearances come, so long as you deal with it, I guess. eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball, free to play. Download now. And we'll see if they go ahead and get Jared Timmer in next year for the motion capture to see if he can add that clearance to the repertoire.
Just going back to the point that I was talking about for Sacramento Republic, sitting in sort of a diamond in that midfield. Watch out here.
These quick transition moments have hurt Vegas. Took a deflection here. It'll be the first corner of the evening for Sacramento.
So now you have a lot of numbers on the defensive side of the ball. You're clogging central locations, but now when you do get on the ball, your first pass is going to be forward. You have options. Russell Cicerone as a number 10. Then you have a double striking pair. Good start here for the visiting side.
Portillo will venture out to take it. Mid-season acquisition from FC Tulsa. They needed him to help lock down the midfield after Rodrigo Lopez suffered the torn knee. Portillo 8th in league history in minutes, 11th in assists. Delivers here from the corner. Kebu is nearest to it. Floated back in, flag stays down, not at a cross frame. Phillips in front, and Arozarena has it. He did not get all of it, Phillips. Arozarena wants to go quickly here. Doesn't find the intended target, but the first good look on a set piece for Sacramento. Kieran Phillips, 12 goals this season. Joined in early April on loan from Sacramento's sister club, Huddersfield, over in England. Owned by Kevin Nagel. 12 goals, 3 assists for Phillips. Bennett finds it. Second touch heavy. Portillo clears. John Smart, so quick on the ball, draws the free kick, has emerged as one of the top right backs in all of USL Championship.
Just going back to this opportunity for Sacramento Republic, you have to be really aware of your surroundings if you are the Las Vegas Lights. As Phillips gets on the end of it, is that a handball? The right arm from Jabang, is it extended away from his body? Really difficult to tell from that angle, and I do think it would have been really harsh to point to 12 yards out for Elton Garcia. But sometimes it's not the initial ball, Joe, it's the secondary action that can really hurt teams. So when your ball gets by you, if you are the Las Vegas Lights, you have to be touch tight with an attacking player.
Pinzone standing over it. As is Charlie Adams wearing the captain's armband. Be ambitious, maybe for a strike here. Danny Vitiello thinks that as well, only sets up with a two-man wall. Adams does go for a goal, and Vitiello has to touch it over the bar in the end. Can always get a read from a goalkeeper depending on how many in the wall. 2 in the wall makes you think he was not expecting that Vitiello, and he had to spring into action.
One of the best left foots in all of USL Championship, Charlie Adams. He hit it extremely well. You have to come out with a lot of power, a lot of venom, and a lot of shape on it. In the end, it's an easy save for Danny Vitiello, but fantastic effort from the captain.
Hindsight seemed like it was over the bar anyway, but Vitiello not taking any chances. Tied the league leading clean sheets this year, Vitiello. From the corner, pinballing around. Kept alive, out to Pinzone. Scored in both meetings against Sacramento this year, Christian Pinzone. End line, Pinzone wins a corner. Vegas this year was the only team in the Western Conference to win this season series against Sacramento. They swept it with 2 wins. Every other team Sacramento played, if they lost, they also counted it out with a win. Some were 2 draws. Vegas the only team to win the season series over Sacramento in the Western Conference this year. Pinzone scored in both. Now he delivers the corner, drops it back post, loose in front again. Shout for a handball from the Vegas players in the box, but Sacramento gets away with it. Pinzone again, cutting in. Pinzone cutting back out. Pinzone finds Nigro. Flag does stay down for Pinzone. Nigro serves. Vitiello hesitates off his line. Took a step off of it. Retreated.
Pinzone has really shown a bit of class over the last couple of minutes, how comfortable he is on tight spaces. Him and Nigro playing a nice little 2v2 game. 14 minutes in, it's been about 4 times now that Las Vegas Lights have elected to put the ball in a dangerous area. Just a little bit shaky, it feels like, for the 2 center backs of Sacramento Republic, Desmond and Timmer. As one goes and challenges for the initial ball, the other one needs to provide a little bit of coverage. Not convincing so far in their defensive 18-yard box.
This is a Sacramento team that has not won since September 29. They went winless in October, 3 losses, 2 draws. Their last win, though, interestingly enough, was on national television, a 4-0 beatdown of New Mexico, the #1 seed. So we know what they look like under Mark Briggs on their best day. Problem is, down the stretch, they really haven't found that best day except for that one in late September against New Mexico.
Yeah, they're just looking for consistency in terms of their performances, but also their lineup as well. A lot of injuries to really important pieces. So it's been an interesting season for Mark Briggs to try to get the puzzle pieces to connect, relationships starting to build. So that's why I do think we start to see him have players that he trusts within his starting 11.
I mentioned winless in October. You take it a step further since the start of September even. 2-6-2. 2 wins, 6 losses, 2 draws. This Sacramento team that was 11 unbeaten to start the year. That was 1 seed for most of the year. That then fell to the 2 seed but was still in that race at New Mexico. And all of a sudden they're on the road for a first-round playoff game for just the 2nd time in their history. They've made 10 postseasons. They've opened 8 of those 10 as the home team. Here's Pinzone, and it blocked. Very much uncharted territory here for Sacramento. Not used to being the underdog on the road to begin the playoffs. Well, they relish that role. Mark Briggs said he loved it, and it's something he communicated to the group that, for once, all the pressure's on Vegas. When we met earlier in the year, pressure was on us. We were the higher team in the standings when we played Vegas both times. We were the team people were waiting for to have a slip up. Now it's the other way around. A team who's in their playoff debut. Can Sacramento embrace that underdog mentality? Cicerone tries to slip it through. Timmer will nod it back for Vidiello. In the aftermath of both Hurricanes Helene and Milton, the USL has partnered with United Way Suncoast to help the Tampa Bay area recover from the devastation the storms left behind. To learn how you can get involved, scan the QR code or visit www.uslsoccer.com/Milton to ensure individuals and families have access to resources they need to recover. Cicerone cuts inside. Cicerone lays it off. Space here. Played on by Felipe and blocked. Luis Felipe waits for it and has it back. And a heavy touch from Luis Felipe.
Seen the threat of Russell Cicerone, the ability to pick up second balls in a more advantageous position. So if you're Charlie Adams, you have to be very aware of his spacing, and you cannot afford Russell Cicerone any time and space in around the 18-yard box.
Nigro, a challenge put in by Nick Ross, and wins the goal kick out of it as well. Coming down this left side for Vegas, right side for Sacramento, it's Chibiu Kebu, who's operating as the right back. So for this whole conversation we're having about Mark Briggs trusting the players that he's got more experience with, that he sees as more reliable, that doesn't really jive with the fact that you're starting a 17-year-old at right back, but he's developed that trust over the year. It was in early August when Sacramento fell against Pittsburgh. Shane Wheat suffered an injury. Ukebu thrust in as a sub, making his debut, and he's been great ever since. Went on to make 6 starts, got called into the US U19 camp earlier this month, so he's on the national team radar, and now as a teenager, he's starting a playoff game.
It's going to do a world of good for his experience. The amount of pressure in this playoff game on the road here in Vegas. Again, it's a very talented left side for the Lions. Watch out, it's a tough challenge there. And you have to think Dennis Sanchez, when the lineup came up, he's the player that they circled. You go at him with his inexperience, his youth. But so far, 18 minutes in, he's stood his own, and that has not made anything easy for this Las Vegas Light side.
Partly a problem of Dennis Sanchez's own creation. From 2020 to 2022, he was in Sacramento as their academy director, and now he comes back here as the head coach of Vegas. He had a couple of stops in between, assistant in Charleston, assistant in Austin, now head coach in Vegas. But for 2 years, from 20 to 22 rather, he headed up the academy director position for Sacramento, and now Chibiu Kebu, 17-year-old academy product, is starting against him in a playoff game. Dennis Sanchez spoke about his time in Sacramento and the relationships he has with Todd Donovan, sporting director, and Mark Briggs, head coach. Just the utmost respect for the organization. And he said that's exactly why we're not taking this game lightly by any stretch of the imagination. We know this team is much better than the 5 seed, quote unquote. And if results would have gone a different way on decision day or in the run-in, this would have very easily been the 2 seed, Sacramento, not the 5. So in a way, Vegas unlucky in that regard, getting about as tough of a draw as you can for your first ever playoff game at home. Hafferty.
Just having a really difficult time over the last 2 minutes. The Las Vegas Lights to find any avenues to really exploit through. So you're looking at Valentino Well, JC and Gandu. What do they look like in terms of their movement? Whether one's dropping a little bit deeper to find space in between lines, but over the last couple minutes, it's been really Route 1, especially through the back line for the Las Vegas Lights.
Slip through, Bennett slips down. I've seen a few players slipping on the grass. You see some of the chunks that have come up, something to keep an eye on. Players have maybe picked the wrong studs for this one or not quite expected how this field is playing, especially in this box at this end of the field so far. Hasn't been as much of an issue down at this end. For Jabang. You look at the names that Vegas has left on the bench in this one. Guys like Joe Jiao, Coleman Gannon, Dre Fortune, Grayson Duty started a few games down the stretch. They're missing Malik Howell, obviously, due to injury, as we touched on earlier. And Dennis Sanchez, we asked him if he had a best 11 that he was going to roll out for this first playoff game, or if it was based on the week of training, the matchup. He said, look, we've got 14 guys who are genuine starters, and I really mean that. And it was going to come down to just gut feel on some guys, certain guys who he trusted to embrace the moment, and also knowing that he would have these guys to pack a punch coming in off the bench. So I'm talking about the depth of Sacramento and how they can move some pieces around the chessboard. Vegas can go player for player with them as this game goes along.
That last action for the Las Vegas Lights was almost a carbon copy of how they scored the opening goal in Sacramento earlier this season. You bait the right back, in this case it is Ukebu, to step off his line, and now it's a run from Pinzon or Nigro to really exploit the space in beyond. Talked about it in the open, so now if you are one of the outside backs for Sacramento Republic, you need to be really disciplined when you decide to step off of your line.
Hammond seemed to know the offside flag was popping up. And you can check out all the exciting postseason action in November. The 2024 USL playoffs presented by Terminix showcase the top teams battling it out for the ultimate prize. Go to USLChampionship.com for all the latest playoff information. We really get things going tomorrow. Full slate on Saturday. Begins early afternoon. You'll be on the call for Memphis 901 in Orange County. We'll keep things in the West for the first couple of matchups of the playoffs. That winner will not meet this winner. That Memphis Orange County winner will get the winner of Colorado Springs Oakland. The winner of this game gets the winner of New Mexico Phoenix on Sunday. Slight advantage there maybe. 2 extra days of rest for whoever wins this game against either New Mexico or Phoenix. Given away from Ukebu. As he's grown in the very early portion of his career. Again, 8 appearances, 6 starts. Sometimes playing out of the back, that's where he's shown some issues. You expect that out of a young player, but the 1v1 defending has been top-notch from Ukebu. Starting to feel like Sacramento is settling in. A couple of those early moments, Ricky, where Vegas created some chaos in and around the box, and we had Jared Timmer basically doing the limbo and clearing it from the ground on a diving header when a clearance with his left foot probably would have done just as well. All sorts of chaos that Vegas was creating, but ever since then it's quieted down, and Sacramento has withstood that early rush.
I think exactly what you said. They've settled into this game, not only on the ball, but off the ball as well. The ability to squeeze the game and force the Las Vegas Lights to stay on one side of the field. And Gondo needs to go and find the game, because how good has he been for the Lights? He's been more times than not, he's been the outlet. Bit of an awkward challenge between Luis Felipe and Sanchez coming in and taking out Sean Smart. So if you are the Las Vegas Lights, yes, the wide parts of the field are going to be crucial, but also changing the point of attack and having an outlet, whether it is Smart, the right back, Nigro, the left back, Pinzon as well. He's staying wide. How expansive can you be in your structure?
Another line breaking pass here is Pinzon from Noel. Too much on it from Noel. Pinzon recovers. Okay, well, there's that 1v1 defending.
Just fantastic. That's stuff that you can't teach. That's just feel. Right as Pinzon is dancing on the ball, do not dive in, read the body position, and when he takes a long touch, look how quickly he closes down the space when Pinzon turns his back. Right here. That's fantastic. The ball gets by you, you put a body in between your individual marker and the ball, and now you afford Danny Vidiello to clear your lines. Fantastic 1v1.
Okay, Boo listed at 6'2". Big frame at right back. Typically played center back for Sacramento, and what their normal setup is that 5 at the back, 3 at the back, whatever you want to call it. Switch to a 4 here tonight. So he's on the outside portion of it as the right back. And that's all part of just Mark Briggs making the calculated decision here tonight to do whatever he had to do to get his most trusted 11 out there versus saying, this is my shape and I'll fit whatever other players I have to fit my shape. It's a sign of a coach being willing to do whatever it takes. How many coaches would be stubborn in that situation and say, you know what, I run a 3-5-2, let's fit the 3-5-2 even if I don't trust player A versus player B. He said, you know what, let's just get the best 11 out there and I will adjust my shape as needed, even throughout the game, pivot as things go along.
I think you take it a step further as well, right? In a do-or-die situation, you want to have balance within your back. You want to be structurally sound. You want to be compacted in your structure, and that's exactly what your 4-back system gives you. And then you have Nick Ross, Luis Felipe, Justin Portillo in front of you. So that back 7 is really difficult to break through, and we've started to see this over 27 minutes. Las Vegas Lights having a really difficult time, but you need to find spaces just like this. Look how many players he takes out of the game with one pass.
Here's Smart. Asante. Solomon Asante delivering, looking for Bennett. This 4-4-2 for Sacramento being tested right now. That's a corner on the way. Question just becomes how solidly can they defend out of this formation if they haven't played it a ton down the stretch.
Those types of runs from and Gondo are going to be really interesting because exactly what you mentioned, Joe. Now you need communication. For if you are Nick Ross or Justin Portillo to pass players off, you do not want to start chasing all over your defensive half, because that's when gaps start to open up, and that is exactly what the Las Vegas Lights want.
Pinzon, headed away by Phillips. Ross, slowed down by Jabang, looking ahead now, almost threads the needle for Cicerone. Interesting comment from Mark Briggs about Russell Cicerone coming into this game. He said he needs to play for the team and not just for Russell Cicerone, and he didn't mean that as a slight, but just more of an extra eye open toward everything that's around him, how he can best put others in position to help impact the play. A year that's been marred by injury for Russell Cicerone, just 5 goals and 2 assists, but he was all-league second team last year, the team high 15 goals, so we know what he's capable of.
Also his work rate in that number 10 position is going to be really important. Got to negate Las Vegas Lights getting any sort of rhythm and try to have them play around you, never through you.
Ross looking long, late foul. And Mark Briggs wondering where the whistle was. Seemed like advantage was played by Elton Garcia, but changed his mind. And actually changed his mind again. He was going to let it play on, and then after maybe a chat in the ear with his assistant referee, does bring it back for the foul. All that for a quick little short free kick and get it right back to the action anyway. Timmer, part of that leadership group along with Lee Desmond. That back line. Luis Felipe backing into Joe Hafferty. Felipe, they cancel each other out, and it's recovered by Ngando. One of the biggest revelations for this Las Vegas Lights team here in 2024. As Salman Asante draws a foul. It's been JC Ngando here on loan from Vancouver, but he has emerged as maybe the best central midfielder in the league, and for a league that maybe has been dominated in the middle of the midfield by Aaron Malloy over the last couple of years, and a couple of other players that come to mind. I think JC Ngando may genuinely have been the guy in that position this year. We'll see when the all-league teams come out, but it's been top-notch from the opening game through the end. 33 starts this year.
Just do a little bit of everything, and he makes it look so easy, the way that he just glides with the ball at his feet, plays with a little bit of a swagger. Time after time makes the right decision, and he's produced some magical moments for the Las Vegas Lights. And he's been, like you said, Joe, a fantastic addition for Dennis Sanchez.
Marauding box-to-box midfielder, but 2 goals and 5 assists as well. He's been able to put that passing on display a couple of times already tonight. He's able to creep out of the midfield when you least expect it. Look where he is right now, top of your screen, pushing further forward. Could sneak up on you and make you pay in the attacking end. Settled by Pinzon, fronted by Ukebu. Pinzon goes back outside. Pinzon over the bar. Haven't had many chances to speak of over the last 10-15 minutes, Vegas, but Pinzon providing a spark.
Just look at the center of your screen, Nigro. He makes a run from a deep lying position centrally, and what that does now, that draws Ukebu 1v1. He's in emergency defending. He's trying to recover the whole way. Pinzon really clever, uses his momentum against him, not once, but twice. But as he stepped up to it, he's leaning back. That's why he loses his footing. What a fantastic little action that was for Las Vegas Lights, with the movement, the decision-making. In the end, the execution was lacking in around that 18-yard box.
Yeah, we talked about it like 10 minutes ago now, the footing down in this box. You saw Ukebu slip defensively. You saw Pinzon slip on the shot. It's certainly a factor. Select is the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. Over a half an hour gone here in Vegas. Still 0-0 in the opening playoff game of the year. Ross, Cicerone took a deflection. Friendly fire. It was off the back of Phillips, it appeared. Ross shielding. Lays it off for Ukebu. Flex high in the sky. Rosarena plucks it. He gets his job back as well. Franco Rosarena is on international duty. Missed a couple of games. Slots right back in. Started both of, or rather Cuba's last match in CONCACAF Nations League back on October 15th. During that stretch, George Marks was in on loan from Charlotte. Made a couple of starts for Vegas. He was actually just recalled from his loan this week to Charlotte. Coincides with the Rosarena coming back from his international duty.
Play that's been really silent for Mark Briggs and Sacramento Republic's Kieran Phillips. Haven't really said his name, only 7 touches throughout the 34 minutes here. 12 goals, 3 assists on the season. How do you get him more influential? When you're a striker and you don't have probably the impact that you would like. So now the discipline, you're going to drop in deep. You want to start to go and search the game, but you actually have to do the opposite. You have to stay as high as you can and try to get on the end of things. Because in doing that, now you afford the players underneath you to provide the service that you would like.
Nigro Pinzone. Corey Bennett lurking. It's floated his way. Doesn't get in behind. Desmond cut it off. Seeing at times in this first half the caginess that comes with your first playoff game, your first half of the playoffs. Not wanting to make that mistake, that could be it. How many times, Ricky, have we seen over the years? Just one mistake, goal 10 minutes in, defend for 80. That's how playoff soccer can go sometimes. Cicerone looking for Ross, nice touch by Ross, he's taken down. Free kick on the way. Expect a yellow here as well for Nigro. Elton Garcia lenient for now, hasn't gone to the pocket. That's what Sacramento is crowding around our referee Elton Garcia and pleading for. Either way, it's going to be a free kick in a terrific position here for Sacramento.
When we talk about balance, Joe, look how many players for the Las Vegas Lights get drawn to the ball. So what that does now, that affords Nick Ross to come centrally. Just so much time and space. Well done from Russell Cicerone. Even better touch from Nick Ross to use the momentum against Nigro. He's already aggressively stepping off of his line. So a little drop of the shoulder, you let the ball come across, and you take a touch into space. It's a clear foul. Contact right on top of the 18-yard box. And I'm with you, Joe. How does Nigro does not see yellow in this situation is beyond me. It's a really interesting distance as well. You have to have the right amount of technical ability, touch, pace to get it up and over the wall underneath the crossbar. So if you are Emin or Vertillo, you have 3 plays here. Hard into the keeper's side to try to catch a Rosarena cheating, around the wall, under the wall. I think those would be the 3 best bets from this distance.
See if Luis Felipe and Cicerone split apart and open up that alleyway. Looks like it's going to be Ammon. It is Trevor Ammon right into the wall. Ammon rebound, ricochets out for a goal kick. Seemed like it took a touch off of Ukebu on the way through as it rose by a Rosarena.
Fantastic execution from the wall. No one turns, exactly what you mentioned. Sean Smart stays his ground. And as this ball falls kindly to Sanchez, he hits it well. Laces through it. But as he's leaning back right when he approaches it, that's why it goes up and over the crossbar.
That was very heads-up defending. As soon as Felipe and Cicerone split apart, those 2 guys came together and formed basically a secondary wall for a Rosarena in the 5 and then the 2. Now it's the other way for Pinzone. Brilliantly timed challenge put in to win it from Timmer. And a yellow card for Valentin Noel, I believe, for dissent on his way past Elton Garcia. We'll wait to confirm that. And that is confirmed now. It was Valentin Noel away from the play. He was up in arms about call or lack thereof, and as he was running by, Elton Garcia said something that got him in the book.
I don't really know what Valentin Noel is trying to go through. There is a little bit of the aftermath from Timber, but it's a clear challenge in the end. For Dennis Sanchez, that's going to be frustrating. Your playmaker, 10 goals, 7 assists on this season to pick up a silly yellow card. Big test for his discipline for the remainder of this match.
And so again, the foul was not called on that challenge. The whistle blew to give the yellow card to Noel, so this should be a drop ball on the back end here for Sacramento.
There's a refereeing license come into play, right?
Yeah, you know, I let it expire this year. I forgot about
it. Did you?
I did.
Too much time in the booth, right?
Every time and I have to get in this booth with you. Why would I want to leave it to go referee?
Oh, there
again?
you go.
You know?
I'll love when the USL playoffs come around, right?
As long as you don't go behind my back and get me fired where I would need that referee license again, I'll be okay. Solomon Asante, one of those additions in the offseason for Vegas that really perked your ears up a little bit. You were like, wait a minute. This Vegas team, Solomon Asante, and I think that was the moment that everything sort of clicked. Like, this Vegas team is going for it. Other than the new ownership led by Jose Bautista, a new front office, new head coach, slowly amassing a lot of talent. But bringing in a name like that, that's a name that echoes through the hallways of USL Championship. Showed they were serious. They starts their inaugural playoff game as a club. Final 5 of this first half. Both sides with 1 shot on target. Sacramento with 6 shots to Vegas's 3. As expected, a heavy possession advantage for Vegas at 65-35. Really, in all facets, this game going to form so far. Just a matter of who will find a way to put at least a 1 up on the scoreboard and change things. Neither goalie has had to make a terrific save yet. Territorially, certainly advantage Vegas. 35 entries into the final third, compared to just 15 for Sacramento. Pinzon. There's been some times where he's dropped really deep. Other times where he's the leading man, tip of the spear almost in the Vegas attack. Very versatile this year. 4 goals, 2 assists, and again, 2 of those goals for Pinzon came against Sacramento, 1 in each of their 2 wins. Adams. Again, while it's a new experience for Vegas in the playoffs, they have guys with playoff experience. Charlie Adams coming over from San Diego Loyal, where he spent the last 4 years. They were a playoff team a couple of times. Got playoff experience from other leagues. Guys like Joe Hafferty and Valentin Noel, who came over from MLS Next Pro with Austin, with Dennis Sanchez. They just won the title last year. They not only have playoff experience, but they have championship winning experience. So it's a new playoff team in the history of USL Championship, this Vegas team, yes, but it's not a team that's devoid of experience. Here's Ngando. His pocket pick by Ross. Ammon. We haven't seen much from Ammon or Phillips yet, playing in this 2-striker look, where it's typically a 1-striker look for Sacramento. How different is it, rookie, from your experience playing in a 2-striker look versus a 1-striker look?
It's really different now because you have to be aware of your counterpart, right? Because if you drop in deep, now you're asking whether it is Ammon in this instance to Killer Phillips to provide the depth in beyond, right? So you always have to be aware of the spaces that you picked up, and you do not want to start to make the same run, because that plays right into the 2 center backs' hands of Las Vegas Lights, Shebang and Hafferty, when you have a little bit of variation yet again in your movement. As one comes to feet, the other one runs in beyond. That's when the confusion can start to set in for the opposing back line. But we haven't really seen them getting any sort of rhythm. Russell Cicerone unable to connect with them. So if you mark breaks, that's something as we approach halftime that you need to get on the same page in this next 45 minutes.
Watch the USL Championship in Spanish on TUDN, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Select matches, including the championship final, will be available in Spanish. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete TV listings. Okebu. Do it again from the throw. There's been a couple of moments for Ukebu on the ball where he made the wrong choice, but by and large, 17-year-old in his playoff debut, just his 9th appearance as a professional, he's held his own defensively. Cicerone still taken away by Asante. Bennett, too much, looking for Ngando, releasing out of the midfield. Desmond carrying, 45th minute, Ammon.
Talked about the two strikers for Sacramento Republic, but Corey Bennett as well. Need to do a little bit better holding up the ball with that instance because your side was under, an immense amount of pressure. Hold up the ball, slow the game down, draw fouls, bring players into this game.
Here's Pinzone. Back heel from Pinzone. Nigro. Nobody making the trailing run for Vegas.
Exactly what the Las Vegas Lights want to create, an overload 2v1. So now Ukebu needs to be really clever with his movement. He cannot overcommit. But Asante and Valentino Well are both in the same area. Valentino Well needs to stay on top of that 18-yard box, and that's when you ask the weak-sided winger to crash towards that far post.
Given away by Ukebu for one last chance in this half for Vegas. Nigro back in his own half. Minute has come and gone. Asante. How long will Elton Garcia let this attack play out? Thrown into Smart, delivered by Smart, looking for Bennett, headed clear by Portillo. There's the whistle to end the first half. 0-0 in the Western Conference quarterfinal as we raise the curtain on the 2024 USL playoffs, brought to you by Terminix. 0-0 through 45.
Much like the two previous games, it's been tight, it's been combative, it's been competitive. I do think if you are Dennis Sanchez through the run of play, you're probably the happier of the two managers. But for Mark Briggs, you wanted to come into this game, you want to be tough to break down, and you've been just that. But now the second half, it's a progression in that final third, all to play for in this next 45.
When these teams last met in September, they were tied at the half. When they met to open the season, it was a 1-0 Vegas win with a first half goal. So this time, 0-0 to the break. That's a stray from the last two meetings this season for Vegas and Sacramento. Halftime show brought to you by SNWA. Change your watering clock now to avoid costly water waste fines. 0-0 at the break between Vegas and Sacramento.
Customers the look they want. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details, so it's one less thing for you to worry about. And when I see that confidence at the end of the cut, that's everything to me.
As a stylist, I know it can be hard to find time for a haircut. With the Great Clips app, you can put your name on the list from anywhere and head to the salon when it's time for your cut. A great haircut plus more time for what you love. That's Great Clips.
Hello, my name is Ramon Martin del Campo, City of Henderson police officer and former Las Vegas Lights team captain. My mother, Susie, desperately waited for a second chance after years of fighting kidney disease. Through a paired kidney exchange program, she was able to receive the gift of life through transplant. Currently, about 85% of Americans waiting need a kidney transplant. I am a living kidney donor. Nevadans are giving. Join us at wearenevadans.org.
We live in one of the driest cities in the nation. Let's live in the desert, not in denial. Saving water is desert living. Do your part to conserve water. Visit snwa.com.
At Comprehensive Cancer Centers, the most advanced treatments and breakthrough research are helping our patients thrive But some of our most powerful treatments are preventative. This begins together in our community through awareness, outreach, education, and support. From healthier living and self-checks to screening for early detection, we can now find and treat some cancers before they strike. We're doing this together, Southern Nevada, and teamwork saves lives.
We live in one of the driest cities in the nation. Let's live in the desert, not in denial. Saving water is desert living. Do your part to conserve water. Visit snwa.com.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Southern Nevada Water Authority, La Bonita, Silver State Schools Credit Union, and Comprehensive Cancer Centers. And welcome back into the Southern Nevada Water Authority halftime show. At the end of this USL Championship regular season, we do have a handful of awards to give out. Let's look at some of the best of the best.
Well, dropped off for Morris. Morris through, oh no! There's the save by Dick.
McCartney flicks it over his head. Pino kept the move going. Pino a serve across. Dotson a touch. Martinez saved. What a play by Eric Dick to deny Enzo Martinez a close range.
A little hesitation gets him into the book. And there's a dangerous cross, and oh, what a stop by Eric Dick! Are you kidding me?
So many coaches will use that 10-game barometer. You think that's about right?
I agree with that, yeah.
That's 100%. When you start to get a grip.
Great ball.
Fuson, that's excellent. Dequan!
A swarm of black jerseys firing forward. They wanted a handball, nothing given. Fuson and Williams in the attack. Squared across. J.J. Williams clips it up, and he has the third.
While at the other end, Rhode Island will put away a third. It's Joseph Brito from Noah Fuson. And the visitors, after nearly conceding the equalizer, come back and score a third, and it's 3-1 Rhode Island.
Opportunity here. The hit and a goal. Goodness. 2 goals apiece. And that's, you said the lethal left foot of Markanek. There it is. Yeah. His 6th of the season.
Malloy. Ball hangs in the air. Attempt to strike down the first time. Oh! Wow! It's Markanek! What a stunner that is! 12 goals on the year! None better than that! Juan David Torres lofts this ball back post. Markanek! Spectacular! What an incredible volley that is to torch the threads and make it 3-0. A brace for North America's leading goal scorer.
Yeah. Get it. Get it.
Shoulda got a dog.
When mice show up, so do we. Terminix it.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Welcome to Do or Die. Welcome to stories that give meaning to it all. The juggernaut chasing history. The hero hoping for a Hollywood ending. The upstart determined to make the most of its shot at glory. Welcome to second-guessing everything. Every coach's decision. Every referee's call. Every pass, shot, tackle, save. Because you know it all means more now. Welcome to the playoffs.
When mosquitoes show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Yeah, trick. I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead.
Desert Radiology is the area's chief resource for the highest quality medical imaging and diagnostic care. We're proud to offer 11 conveniently located imaging centers across the valley. As a member of the community for over 50 years, Desert Radiology is proud to be the official imaging partner of the Las Vegas Lights. To learn more, visit desertrad.com. That's desertrad.com. Let's go Lights!
Halftime is presented by Southern Nevada Water Authority. Change your watering clock now to avoid costly water waste fines. 0-0 through 45 between Vegas and Sacramento. The opening match of the 2024 USL Championship playoffs brought to you by Terminix. Let's take a look around the league at some news and notes brought to you by Tiger Bomb. You saw some of the clips of the Golden Awards coming up here. Golden Boot for Nick Marcanek. And just spent a second on him here. The North American scoring leader here in 2024. Just a terrific season.
I think he was fantastic and more intentional with his spacing. I had the ability to speak with Ben Bierman about him. He said he's been understanding where to be in around the 18-yard box and score every single goal, right foot, left foot with his head, and he's had a fantastic season, and now he's going abroad. La Liga 2 is into his future. Eric Dick was fantastic, same as Riverhounds on the backside. I don't know if you saw him. How good has he been for Rhode Island? Won the Golden Playmaker. Fantastic season for all of three of those players.
Louisville terrific at home. We knew that. The one in the middle, though, that really stood out. How great the East was this year in playing the Western Conference. And looked at how these conferences were coming into the playoffs. The East 22-6-12, the West 12-17-11. That was both conferences' playoff teams in their last 5 games coming into the playoffs. So a lot of the teams in the West backed in, a lot of the teams in the East flew into the playoffs. So we'll see how that plays out. Obviously, the East won't meet the West until the final on November 23rd, so it really doesn't matter all that much until we get to November 23rd. Here's the upcoming schedule for Saturday here in the USL playoffs, brought to you by Advanced Imaging Solutions. One company, many solutions. 11 a.m. Pacific time gets you going, Memphis and Orange County.
It's going to be a really interesting match. Danny Stone, what he's been able to do with the Memphis 901 side that has a plethora of talent, especially on that front line. You go down a game lower. Charleston Battery and Ben Pierman, fantastic season at home. I think they broke the season record of most wins in Charleston Battery side, and against the Bob Lilly side, that was almost perfect to end out the 2024 regular season.
Yeah, that one's going to be interesting because Charleston has really had nothing to play for a while. They could not catch Louisville. They could not be caught by number 3. Pittsburgh, rather, has been playing playoff games since August, essentially. So the intensity in that one will be interesting. And misspoke there when I said Phoenix. That's because they come up on Sunday when they go on the road against New Mexico. That rivalry is historic. That game as a 1-8 could be interesting because Phoenix just beat New Mexico in New Mexico a couple of weeks ago.
Upset?
I think so.
Yeah.
Could be.
I think that is one of, if not the only, or upset that we will see in this first round.
Only?
Yeah.
Okay,
so.
All right, well, we will see over the next 48 hours, and we'll find out over the next 45 minutes, maybe more, maybe an extra half hour, maybe penalties between Vegas and Sacramento. Still tied up, 0-0.
We live in one of the driest cities in the nation. Let's live in the desert, not in denial. Saving water is desert living. Do your part to conserve water. Visit snwa.com.
As a Great Clips salon stylist, I love giving customers the look they want. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details, so it's one less thing for you to worry about. And when I see that confidence at the end of the cut, that's everything to me.
As a stylist, I know it can be hard to find time for a haircut. With the Great Clips app, you can put your name on the list from anywhere and head to the salon when it's time for your cut. A great haircut plus more time for what you love. That's Great Clips.
Yeah, let's redo the basement.
Hello, home movie theater.
Spare bedroom.
Why not both? Use the US Bank mobile app to apply for a home improvement loan. It's easy.
Wonderful, Alex.
Hey, that's what US Bank is for. Anything else?
How about a loan for a bigger car? Our family is growing.
Oh.
Yeah, my brother's moving in with his 5 dogs.
Oh.
Heyo! And we're expecting.
Ah.
Expecting what?
Help for today, planning for tomorrow. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together.
All right, team. I'm not angry. I want to know who broke this. I want to make sure this doesn't happen again in the future. We found this tangled up in the transfer rollers. Who did this?
AIS is a proud sponsor of the Las Vegas Lights Football Club.
At Silver State Schools Credit Union, we help you celebrate life's little moments and guide you through the big ones. Earn 2% cash back on every purchase with our Cashback Rewards credit card.
Silver State Schools Credit Union, your financial partner for life.
Take a look at the highlights brought to you by Great Clips in the first 45 chances from set pieces for Sacramento.
I think that was a really important piece for Sacramento Republic. Their set pieces, the dead ball opportunities, and not the initial action, the secondary action. Ammon does a really nice job to put it into the path. Kieran Phillips unable to really test a Rosarena, but now you started to see Las Vegas Lights getting in the rhythm, especially in central location, moving the ball from left to right. Nice little save here from Vidiello. Fantastic effort from Charlie Adams from distance.
Seemed that this is where the first half slowed down, that middle 15 minutes, then all of a sudden, last 10-15, it picked back up again.
And it was this near side between Pinzone again to Kebu, and then you had Nigro as well, twisting and turning. Pinzone was just so good, 1v1 at creating his own space, but it's that final action that continued to lack for Las Vegas Lights. Footing, like you mentioned, Joe, was a massive issue in around that 18-yard box.
See if it's as much of an impact in the second half. You had this free kick from Ammon right into the wall. Secondary effort from Sanchez blasted over the bar, and that would be a wrap on opportunities in the first half. Stats for the first 45 brought to you by US Bank, and really what we kind of expected with Vegas controlling the possession, both teams firing a few shots, but very, very tight overall.
I think if you're Mark Briggs, you have to be really happy with your defensive structure. What was one of the keys coming into this game? We had to be disruptive. We cannot allow Las Vegas Lights to get in any sort of rhythm. Yes, there was glimpses of that, but not over the consistent 45 minutes. I do think it's going to take a very similar effort on the dirty side of the ball for Sacramento Republic.
It'll be Vegas in the black from left to right. Sacramento in the white from left to right. Second half kick is presented by Comprehensive Cancer Centers, kicking cancer in Las Vegas for more than 40 years. 0-0 through 45. Got at least 45 more to go in the opening round of the 2024 USL Playoffs, brought to you by Terminix. Happy to have you with us this evening on ESPN Plus with MLS veteran Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa. No subs at the break from either side. Same 22 who started. Begin the second half. Only yellow to speak of is Valentin Noel late in the first half for his reaction, or reaction to a non-call rather, from Elton Garcia. Only booking from the first 45.
Right off the bat, you start to see Sacramento Republic in their defensive shell, sitting into a 4-4-2 block. So two lines of four. Luis Felipe, Justin Portillo, centrally Nick Ross on the right-hand side. Russell Cicerone has popped on to his left-hand side, trying to make the lines as tight and compact as possible for Mark Briggs.
Over the top here for Ngando. We talked about it in the first half. He could sneak out of the midfield at times, join that top line. Quick early look at that from Vegas.
Need more types of runs like this from Ngando and Valentin Noel to break lines, to pull players out of position, because now you're asking Desmond and Sanchez to go and chase you. And as they do that, the gap starts to open up. So that's when Valentin Noel, Sean Smart can pop up in those dangerous areas.
Wonder how long into this second half we will see specifically Sacramento go without making any changes. For Vegas, whenever they make a sub, for the most part, it'll be like for like, and they will play the way they play. But for Sacramento, we alluded to it in the first half, missing some guys due to injury. They play in this 4-4-2 here today. But if you look at the bench, obviously you got a backup goalkeeper. And you've got Christian Pirano, who could slot in as a 10 or anywhere on that top line. And then you have 5 defenders. So any change they make is likely going to move some other piece around the chessboard that's already out there. So the first sub, whenever it happens from Mark Briggs, will be very telling as far as what shape they play in, or what the tactics will be down the stretch. Whereas for Vegas, whoever they bring on or off, it's just going to be plug and play. And with the possibility of going an extra half hour, you wonder when those changes might come. Do the coaches hold on? For those of you taking a look around the American soccer landscape, have been peeking maybe at the MLS Cup playoffs, where you've seen straight to penalties after 90. Just a reminder, that's not the case here. We will have the traditional 2 15-minute extra time halves and then penalties if need be. Too much, looking for Sanchez. Ricky, you mentioned that it should have been Dennis Sanchez the happier on the two managers going into the halftime break. So if you were in Mark Briggs' shoes as the quote-unquote unhappier of the two managers, what were you saying to the group in the locker room?
I think we just need to get on the ball a little bit more, right? We cannot continue to just let Las Vegas slide, try to dictate tempo, because we have talent in our own right. We have the ability to dictate tempo, especially away from home. We've won 6 times in this season, the regular season, so why not make that a number 7 in 2024? I do think Justin Portillo needs to pull his strengths a little bit more. Luis Felipe really quiet on the ball, and results of that, your front three not really asking questions of this back line, and Rosarena hasn't really had to make any sort of save. So if you do get on the ball, doesn't need to be Route 1, does not need to be 100 miles per hour. Play yourself into this game, slow the game down, move the ball from left to right. And I do think for that reason, Mark Briggs has to feel a little bit shaky, but on the defensive side, I thought they were fantastic.
Okebu stepped out for a Vegas throw. Reads the game well on that back line, Okebu.
More importantly, now I do think he has Nick Ross as a true out-and-out winger in front of him. So now he has a little bit of help as Nigro and Pinzon continue to double down. That's a nice little tactical change that we've seen on the defensive side for Mark Briggs.
See Sean Smart's wheels turning on that give and go with Asante, but the initial ball in just off target. Overlap from Jabang, and I could see you wincing in your chair. That was almost a big collision between two big boy center backs who end up next to each other. They were waiting for them to collide, and thankfully they did not. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesdays at 7 Eastern. Plus, you can hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. And it was part of the conversation on that USL All Access show. Mike Watts, Devin Kerr, that has Mark Briggs wanting to prove some doubters wrong. Yep. He said that there are some people around the league, other coaches. He mentioned Mike and Devin by name, our beloved colleagues. Don't mean to throw them under the bus, but there was some note taken as far as the prospects and the outlook of Sacramento in the playoffs, and they want to prove doubters wrong. Fully aware, Mark Briggs, that the end of the season was not what they wanted, and it was below their standard, winless in October. But relishing this role as the underdog, embracing the fact that they've been written off by some other coaches in different circles and the outside media. And he even went as far as saying that some of their own fans don't believe they're going to do anything this year, and they are ready to prove them all wrong. Asante. Ngando. Just look at the places that Ngando ends up with the ball. Now to the end line. JC Ngando fizzes it across. It's all the way through without a touch. We've seen him marauding box to box. We've seen him now end line. He's just everywhere, Ngando.
But at some point, Lee Desmond needs to help out Sanchez. You cannot afford the left back to go 2v1. He's backtracking about 15 yards, and it's far too late for the center back to step up. He's already about a yard outside your 6-yard box, so now you're asking for areas to attack. If you are Las Vegas Lights, Corey Bennett sits on top of that 6-yard box. Pinzon needs to crash that far post, and if he does, it hits any part of his body, and it's 1-0 Las Vegas Lights.
Still quiet from Corey Bennett so far in this one. 14 goals this year, and this game is really a good representation of that now ever-growing USL League One to USL Championship pathway. You see Corey Bennett on the Vegas side, 14 goals this year, came from Charlotte Independence where he spent the last 2 years. Trevor Ammon set the USL League One record last year with 23 goals. He bangs in 9 this year for Sacramento. He tried to find Phillips here on this redirect, but the opposing strikers, both coming from League One last year, both hitting the ground running, really needing an adjustment period of any sort.
Really well done.
Play out of that by Jabang. Slips it through. Pinzon looking for Bennett. Almost an own goal. The best save that Viniello's made so far comes off of his own player.
Just fantastic for Jabang. First to elude Nick Ross and then have the ability to break and take every single player off of the field. The run from Corey Bennett. Now you're asking Lee Desmond to make a decision. He needs to play and make a play on this ball, because if he doesn't, Corey Bennett's at the doorstep. Fantastic positioning from Danny Vitiello to keep this thing 0-0, but those are the areas that if you're the Las Vegas Lights, you continue to exploit. Start on one side of the field, you end on the other with the weak-sided wide player. Lee Desmond, those are nightmare positioning for center backs, facing your own defensive goal. A player off your shoulder. Flawless positioning from the goalkeeper.
You know the worst part about that is for Danny Vitiello? There will never be any record of that because it doesn't count as a save since it came off of a teammate. So nobody will ever know if you check the stat book that he made that stop. But he made it, and that's why it's still 0-0. Given away from his counterpart, Rosarena. Now at the other end, took a deflection off of Jabang. So a brilliant bit of goalkeeping at one and a nightmarish bit of goalkeeping at the other. But it's just a corner that comes of it.
Just want to go back to the conversation you and I had, Joe, in the first half about Jabang. Center midfielder, Paul playing as a center back in this game, and you just saw it on display there. The ability to break a line with the ball at his feet, comfortable under pressure, and then the vision. Top class from Jabang.
Cicerone short from the corner. Awkward ball back, puts an awkward ball in, and the whole ordeal ends with a clearance from Vegas. Ross rescues though, leaves it through Cicerone. Cicerone, after a poorly executed short corner last time, they get a mulligan. Won't be Cicerone taking this one either. Portillo comes over to take it. Supporter section enjoying the inaugural playoff game and the history of Las Vegas Lights happening here at home after a historic season. From the corner, Portillo, good delivery, loose in the 6. Luis Felipe trying to reach around Nigro and tap it home. Ball stays in play. Luis Felipe, flicked on by Ukebu, still loose. Rosarena almost fumbled it. A nervy couple of moments here. where this whole thing again started by Rosarena's poor play out of the back, giving it away. That's what precipitated those two corners. Asante. Getting up there in age, Solomon Asante, but still has this spark down the wing. Ngando looking through for Smart. Now Cicerone wants to go. More of a transitional game so far in this second half than we saw in the first. Cicerone, Trevor Ammon, back for Cicerone. Everything but the last piece of the puzzle for Sacramento.
Really good transitional moment for Sacramento Republic. It's the timing and the patience from Russell Cicerone to continue to drive. Joe Hafferty needs to make a decision as he opens up this passing lane. He does not turn off of his movement, continues, but you need to take your first touch. The ball's coming horizontally away from goal. Really difficult to get your hips around it. First touch settles. Now you can open up the goal mouth, but also you can also play the ball into a teammate as well. It's not the right decision in the end from Russell Cicerone.
Getting to the point of the match now where any goal can be the goal. Go up 1-0 around the hour mark. It's 30 minutes of putting that bus in park and making sure you find a way through to the next round. And both these teams have been able to showcase that defensive prowess this year, more so Sacramento. They're tied top of the league in clean sheets for Danny Vitiello. Good service here. Vitiello parries away. Chested down by Smart, and Ngando waited on it. Now it's Cicerone again, looking over his shoulder. Smart closing ground, up to Ammon. It's the one thing that neither Ammon nor Phillips possess as the two strikers for Sacramento. That breakaway speed to play in behind. Really good with the ball at their feet, in the air, and hold-up play, but not getting in behind for those transitional moments.
Well, that affords Las Vegas Lights to be a little bit more aggressive in their positioning, because there's no real threat in behind. So now you can step up and gain some real estate when the ball is in your attacking third. The player that Las Vegas Lights just does not seem up to it. Ngando just seem a little bit too slow, pedestrian-like, very uncharacteristic for a player of his quality.
Reached the hour mark. Could be just 30 minutes remaining in the season for either Las Vegas or Sacramento. Glad to have you with us this evening on ESPN Plus with MLS veteran Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa here at Cashman Field in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's Las Vegas Lights and Sacramento Republic in the opening match of the 2024 USL playoffs, brought to you by Terminix. Historic season for Vegas. Dennis Sanchez said it took a village, from ownership to the front office to his staff to the players buying in. Said they really had no reason to buy in. He didn't really have relationships with a lot of these guys. They all just saw that there was something new forming here in Vegas, wanted to be a part of it, and they all bought in. At a big turning point in their 6-0 loss against Charleston this year. Asante, Ngando. It was after that loss to Charleston that Dennis Sanchez felt the team hit a pivotal moment. He could have just berated them in the locker room and said every word under the sun to try and get their attention, but took a different approach. Relaxed, calm. Next day at training, showed them footage of Charleston losing 7-0 to San Antonio last year. Charleston made the final, so that could be us. Take this loss, learn from it, internalize it. Now here they are in the playoffs. Hafferty slips awkwardly. Given away by Phillips. Almost an ironic passing of the torch in that way, where it was San Antonio who had beaten Charleston that 7-0. Charleston made the final. Then it was Charleston who beat Vegas 6-0. Can they have the same playoff success? Charleston, a more historic club in this league. It wasn't their first playoff rodeo by any means last year, but it was for that regime. New front office, new head coach last year in Charleston, just like it was this year for Vegas. Plenty of similarities between those two clubs year over year. They hope for a different ending, though. Charleston fell in penalties to our reigning champions Phoenix, who get their playoffs underway on Sunday at New Mexico. Here's Ngando. Good service, looking for Bennett. That's a better ball in from Ngando. It seemed like Bennett wasn't sure which shoulder to play off of it as he tried to work around Timmer. Could be a 3v2 here. Ukebu stepping up. Has Phillips and Ammon. Looking through for Ammon, cut off by Hafferty. Portillo, Ukebu.
It's a right idea from Ukebu to try to delay as long as he can, to try to play it into the path of Ammon on this near side. But Joe Hafferty, the center back for Las Vegas Lights, has been fantastic with his positioning, putting fire after fire out. This is exactly what you do not want to happen if you are the Las Vegas Lights. You do not want to get spread apart because there is so much attacking talent on the other side in Sacramento Republic. Kieran Phillips, 12 goals, Ammon 9, Cicerone 5. The list goes on and on with the plethora of options that can hurt you.
The longer this game goes 0-0, you can't help but think it favors Sacramento. Better defensive team all year long. The more experienced team, been here, done that in the playoffs. And again, this is not some 2-7 or 1-8 matchup here where there's a gulf between the home side and the road side. These teams were separated by a point in the regular season. It's the 4th place team and the 5th place team. This is as tight as it gets. Could have easily been this game being played right now at Hart Health Park instead of here at Cashman Field. The longer it goes, the more it favors the better defensive team, more experienced team. Both of those attributes side with Sacramento. Pressure mounts for the home team, the higher seed. That's in their first ever playoff game. Mark Briggs knew that. Knew this would be a game where, for the first time, Vegas feels it a little bit. How they deal with that pressure would be the true testament to the character of this group and maybe how far of a run Vegas could make. So we'll learn something here too. How does Vegas handle the pressure? I'll tell you what, if this gets to penalties, you've got two really good shot-stopping goalkeepers at either end. Rosareno's shown an ability to stop penalties in his career. Danny Vitiello, I learned the hard way when I was a wee student at the University of Maryland, and we played his University of Albany in the NCAA tournament, and it went to a shootout, and Albany won. And Vitiello made a couple of saves, so know firsthand what he could do in a shootout. Smart. Perfect challenge put in by Luis Felipe to win the ball cleanly. Falls for Jabang. Nigro. Still no subs made by either side as we tick to the 70-minute mark. Again, regular season, probably would have seen one already. Postseason, knowing you could have an extra half an hour beyond, maybe you reserve those changes for a little bit longer. Ngando, quick little touch. It's one thing that Vegas has not done a lot of in this game, and that's get into Sacramento's 18. They've gotten to the final third plenty of times. But how many times they've turned final third entries into box touches? Not a great ratio right now for Vegas. Sacramento actually has 11 touches in the box to Vegas's 10, and that's with Vegas having 61 final third entries to Sacramento's 32. So double the final third entries for Vegas. Sacramento has one more touch in the box. There is a force field around that 18. It's just defensive shape and the defensive integrity from Sacramento. Very tough to break through.
You just look at your screen right now, all 11 players behind the ball. Kieran Phillips spearheading the attack. Now you have Trevor Hammond almost playing as a number 10, so they're splitting that relationship and responsibility to try to negate the ball into Charlie Adams. And then you have two banks of four. Really difficult to break down, so if you are Dennis Sanchez, a message to your side, the ball needs to move quick, movement ahead of the ball, pulling players out of position, being selfless with your movement, and changing the point of attack. Your passes like this are really difficult to break down. You have to have the right amount of vision, technical ability, touch, and there's just not a lot of real estate, especially with Danny Vitiello's ability to read the game. To continue to mention it, the movement of Valentin Noel and Gondo needs to be more decisive, right? Because you cannot always want the ball to feet. That makes life very easy for Portillo and Luis Felipe just to shift over. When you play in between those lines, that's when the confusion, who's going to step, who's going to drop, who's going to rotate over, start to set in, and that's when gaps open up.
Here's a gap that they exploit. Noel. Valentin Noel. And Gondo calling for it. Sean Smart steps up. Solomon Asante now. Solo and line. Wins a corner. And gets the crowd fired up as well. How often in these knockout games, it's tight, scoreless. Is it a set piece that changes everything? Could this be the one from Charlie Adams? Adams drops it in, diving punch away from Vitiello. Nigro can put a secondary ball in, lays it off instead for Smart. Sean Smart lofts it, Vitiello tracks it and has it.
Good goalkeeping yet again from Danny Vitiello. You have to command your 6-yard box, especially with the traffic oncoming. Punches it up and away. No rebound given.
Mark Briggs still has the touch.
Ball's in the air, you have white sneakers on. Split-second decision.
Well, the fashionista to my right would have pulled that shoe out of the way in a heartbeat.
Not touching that, or that's a soul touch.
I mean, I could look at myself in your shoes tonight. It's basically a mirror that I'm staring down at.
They're Sambas, okay?
Chrome Sambas? I can't say I've seen those before. I'm not knocking them. They look terrific.
Thank you.
That's going to be it here for Kieran Phillips. Leading goal scorer this year with 12, does not produce tonight. Dami Villader takes his spot. And Ricky, this is where we get into that whole conversation of how does one sub have a domino effect for Sacramento? Because he's not a striker, Dami Villader. He's a wingback or a midfielder, and you're taking him off for a striker. We alluded to it earlier. The bench for Sacramento was a goalie, an attacking player, and then 5 defenders / wingers in Villader's case. So it could be a lot of movement here.
So now Russell Cicerone will pop on to that top line and just play the same role that Kieran Phillips was required to play. Russell Cicerone, a different profile. Now he has the ability to run in behind. He has the ability with his movement to really unbalance this Las Vegas Lights back line. Villader playing the left-hand side. His work rate up and down on this near side, and his quality of service as well. Something that can be the difference for Sacramento Republic on the back end of this match.
Villadare made 24 appearances in the regular season, a dozen of those starts. Rosarena bailed out by the offside flag there, as he handed it right back to Sacramento and was off his line. Villadare now in his third year with Sacramento. He's the USL League One Defender of the Year in 2021 when he won the title with Union Omaha. This is where this Sacramento team can rely on their experience, be it deep Open Cup runs that we saw this year and that we saw, of course, back in 2022 when they famously made the final. Had deep runs in the USL Championship playoffs. Haven't put a star above the crest or lifted a trophy in any competition since 2014 when they won it all.
Stop that. What a move.
See those individual flashes time and again. So many of the players on this Vegas side. Now Nigro looking over the top. Come all the way through for Ngando. Smart finds a way through. Sean Smart. And it is a goal kick. Changes being readied by Vegas. They'll hold on those for now.
Fantastic work here from Villadare. I don't know. It does seem like he takes the last touch because that ball goes through the legs of Sean Smart. I think he gets away with one here, Sacramento Republic.
So they were ready to make the changes. I think they're having second thoughts, Vegas, at least with one of them. And in the fourth official, a different slip now, maybe correcting the numbers. Told initially it was supposed to be Elias Gartig for Charlie Adams and Coleman Gannon for Solomon Asante. After they held off for that restart, seems like they had a change of heart. If it ends up true to what we were told initially, be interesting to see if they push Jabang into the midfield and drop Gardig out of that back line. Natural center back. Here's Ngando, waiting for support, looking back, post for Bennett, oh, just out of his reach. Just beyond the fingertips of Viniello and past the outstretched foot of Bennett. What a ball put in from Ngando.
The best way to describe it, it's like a quarterback leading a wide receiver, exactly where he wants this ball to be played, but give credit to the movement of Corey Bennett as well. Timmer never sees him, Viniello cannot get to him. Right enough pace. Just so close to the opening goal. What a fantastic action that is for the Las Vegas Lights. First to movement of Corey Bennett to peel off the blind side, but then you have Ngando pulling the strings. Technical ability, vision, execution, all of the above. Nearly getting Las Vegas Lights on the board here.
So that initial change we were talking about, Gartig for Adams, that'll likely push Jabang into the midfield. That one is standing. They did decide to switch Coleman Gannon sub. Instead of Solomon Asante, it is going to be Christian Pinzon who comes out. Sean Smart's down. And they're going to have to lift him as well. The Grayson Duty is going to replace Sean Smart. That's a big loss for Vegas, Sean Smart. We've seen what he can do coming up from the right back position, even just moments ago when we thought was a corner ends up as a goal kick. But you see in that moment the dynamism that he brings off the back line. So a trio of changes now for Vegas, brought to you by Desert Radiology. Interesting to watch the midfield now with Gartig popping onto the back line and Jabang stepping up. You touched on it throughout the day, Ricky, that Jabang, a natural midfielder, forms a great combination with JC Ngando. We saw him step up. Jabang winning it now on cue, his first bit of midfield action. See the line-breaking passes from the back line. can affect the game from a higher position.
So now Las Vegas Lights will set up in a 4-1-4-1 formation wide. So Jabang will be that single pivot. And Coleman Gannon will play on this right-hand side. Corey Bennett will continue to spearhead the attack as well. So now you have two vertical wingers underneath your 14-goal man in Corey Bennett. And it's an interesting one, Joe, because I thought that Charlie Adams was fantastic at being that connective tissue.
Gondo kept it in play. Gets past Desmond, cuts it back, and it's over the bar. Coleman Gannon, just into the match, had the opportunity. He sends it skyward.
Start to see Ngondo starts to come alive, especially on this near side with his 1v1 ability. He knows he has Lee Desmond beat. This touch right here, essentially, now his body position is square. But if you're Coleman Gannon, notice how he just stabs at it. Just run through it. Step through it, continue with your momentum, keep your shoulders over the ball, and try to bend it into this near post. But as he can see, he just kind of gets his foot stuck into the ground. That's why he gets under it. And Justin Portillo does just enough to be that shield in front of Danny Vitiello.
It's Vitiello who's down now. Coleman Gannon, 5 goals, 4 assists on the season. First season in the USL Championship on a professional deal. Apologies for the technical difficulties. We are winding down the clock here in the opening match of the 2024 USL Championship playoffs, brought to you by Terminix. 0-0 between Las Vegas and Sacramento. Alongside Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Joe Malfa. Shibio Kebu, who's jogging off now, intended to by the training staff. Still scoreless between these two teams. Saw Vegas use 3 subs already, all at once. Seen just 1 change from Sacramento. So both sides will have some ammo going into extra time if we do indeed get there. Looking more and more like that may be the case. Card coming out of the pocket here for Nick Ross.
Just a bit silly here from Nick Ross. Little clip of the heels of Jabang, knows he's beat. No real need to make that challenge because Justin Portillo's right there facing up the Lights player.
Sacramento has had a knack for the late drama this year. 15 goals of the 46 they scored came in the last 15 minutes of matches. Only 6 of those they conceded in the late stages, so they've been a good closing team. Asante, little pocket of space for Asante. Felipe wins it, and it puts a dangerous but crucial secondary challenge in there. You have to get that perfectly timed. Otherwise, you're getting a card, and you're setting up the opposition with a great free kick. And there might be a question of what color that card is if you come in too high. And it's perfect from Luis Felipe. Nigro. Hafferty stepping up off the back line. 3 minutes to go in the 90. Grayson Duty. Vegas' possession advantage is 70-30. They've had 517 passes to Sacramento's 217 passes. 300 more for Vegas. And yet, Sacramento out shooting Vegas 11-4. 2 shots on target for Sacramento, just 1 for Vegas with an asterisk because of that terrific near own goal. Desmond, who had to make the play. Danny Vitiello made the save of the game. That isn't technically a save because it didn't come off an opposing player. That was the best goal scoring opportunity that either side had. Mark Briggs clearly did not agree. Rafferty. Noel steps up, has some options. 90th minute at Cashman Field. Bennett, from distance, Bennett. Asante. There will be 4 added minutes here in the second half. An additional 30 minutes if need be, penalties beyond that. Ngando floats it. Kebu steers it away. Flex near Ngando, cleared by Sanchez. There have been plenty of patrons in this city, Ricky, who have been there sweating it out and enjoyed a late, stressful win. Wee hours in this city. Is that what we have here in stoppage time? Vegas, the aggressors. If it's going to come from either of them, it's going to be Vegas, it seems, here in stoppage time. Sacramento, for about 10 minutes, have seemed a team content to force this to extra time. As the lower seed on the road, can they hold on? They don't really have the counter-attacking prowess to really counterpunch in transition here either. They don't have anybody to turn to on the bench except for Christian Pirano, who we could see in extra time. For now, it's a free kick that Sacramento has to defend.
This ball needs to be placed right between that 6-yard box and penalty mark. Whatever I'm saying, look at Hafferty and Duty on this near end, widely unmarked.
Asante comes all the way to an open Duty. Clear out challenge made by Timmer. It'll be a corner.
Does quite well, Joe Hafferty, to ride the line and break it at the last second to keep himself onside. Even better recovery from Timmer. Last-ditch defending effort, needs to get it right, and does just that.
Ngando sets up the corner, had a conversation with Asante, who departed. Ngando will deliver. Ngando, driven ball back in, bouncing around. There's a shout for a handball from Vegas. Bouncing around, Jabang chests it down. Comes to Asante, settles. Solomon Asante looking to get end line, has Ngando. Ngando floats it. Everybody forward here for Vegas. Out for a volley by Nigro and saved by Viniello. Struck it well. Viniello makes the stop.
Talked about it all night. Not the initial ball that can hurt teams. It's the secondary action. Nigro steps up, calls his own number. Technical ability, flawless. Head down, laces through this ball. Straight at Danny Viniello. Easy save yet again.
Now Villader, or a chance the other way for Sacramento. By the time this kick is taken, 4 minutes will have come and gone. This is going to be the last play of regulation here. It'll either be a winner for Sacramento or we will head to extra time in the opening match of the 2024 playoffs, brought to you by Terminix. Sacramento has not even been to this end of the field for the last 15-20 minutes.
3 assists.
Withstanding every blow from Vegas.
3 assists, Justin Portillo, especially with the in-swinger. Look for a glancing header to get on the end of it.
Portillo punched away by Rosarena. There is the whistle. We will head to extra time in the playoff opener in 2024.
Fantastic game of football that we've had. Las Vegas Lights on the ball the entirety of that second 45 minutes. But how good have Sacramento Republic been on the defensive side of it? They needed to do that. They've done just that. Sets up for an intriguing extra time here. It comes down to who's going to make a play, who's going to make a mistake, who's going to be more critical in clinical moments.
Players will take a quick break, so will we. When we return, extra time between Vegas and Sacramento.
Hey, bud. This doing nothing all day isn't good.
You should be out making friends.
Lots of friends.
Why? Huh? Because I'm not enough? By myself? Because you would love me more if I was always bringing over new money friends?
Yes.
It's called earning dividends, dear.
Get your money working with amazing certificate rates now at AmericaFirst.com.
Take a look at highlights from the second half of action between Vegas and Sacramento. Chances were there, brought to you by Great Clips, but no goals to show for it.
Ngando really came alive later in that second half. A fantastic vision. Court Bennett unable to get on the end of it, and it was mostly the Las Vegas Lights, and it was Ngando. He was the one that seemed the ability to produce that little bit of individual brilliance. He puts this ball across. If you're Coleman Ngando, you just need to step through it. The way that you stab at it, now you have the ability to get underneath it. What a golden opportunity that could have been.
Right at the very end, another great chance for Vegas.
And Nigro hits it while he steps up off the half volley. Not an easy technique, but straight at Danny Vitiello, who I thought was fantastic between the sticks for Sacramento Republic.
And just a reminder of how things will work here. 2 15-minute extra time periods, no golden goal, sudden death. We will play the 30 minutes in their entirety, split into 2 15-minute extra times and to penalties, if need be, beyond the half hour. We've sort of checked the temperature on this question throughout the night, Ricky, but at this point in time, is there a team that you'd rather be in this situation, Vegas or Sacramento?
That's a really difficult question. I do think it has to be the Las Vegas Lights. They were on the ball, they were dictating tempo, and I say that because you look at Sacramento Republic and there's no real vertical threat going back the other way. Trevor Hammond wants the ball to feet. Russell Cicerone has worked extremely hard, and he's dealt with some injuries, so his fitness is maybe not there for a full 120 minutes, and also have the legs to stretch in beyond. So I do think if you are Dennis Sanchez, you're telling your boys to continue to move the ball, continue to be patient, because the time is going to come. But now, how composed can you be when that opportunity arises to make the most of your chance?
In the 90, we saw Vegas make 3 subs, just 1 from Sacramento. So Vegas carried 2 subs over, Sacramento carried 4 over. Both teams in the extra time get an additional sub as well. So we can see them go up to 6. Only yellow cards to speak of. Valentin Noel for Vegas. Nick Ross for Sacramento. And we are underway in extra time between Las Vegas and Sacramento. First ever playoff game in Las Vegas's history. 90 minutes, not enough to decide it. Glad to have you with us here this evening with Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa. You dealt with us for 90, you deal with us for 30 more. See if we produce a winner or if we're on the road to penalties to start things off in this postseason. Cicerone slips. Asante. Coleman Gannon running off of Bennett. Bennett has eyes for goal and bounced up off of the 6-yard box area, and it hit Vitiello in the face. After 90 scoreless minutes, that certainly would have been a way to break the deadlock.
What a wicked bounce off of this surface from Corey Bennett. Fortunate for Danny Vitiello, it stays within his frame. That's a clever ball here.
Viader almost through. Give it away out of the back by Vegas. Luis Felipe, Damian Viader. Overlap from Sanchez, just doesn't have enough to get there. There's Vitiello, who somehow still has all of his teeth, I think. Gotta stop it any way you can as a keeper.
Seen a save off of the face of Vitiello. Jared Timmer ducking down to his feet to head the ball. But look how wicked of a bounce it takes right there. Oh.
The beard cushioned it.
Yeah,
the
there
beard
you go.
Cushioned it.
That's why you get the facial hair, right? Doesn't know much about it, but all it matters is stays out of the back of the net.
Here's Duty. This Vegas team was not content. Just let this season go through without tweaking the roster that was already completely overhauled from last year. Brought in a guy like Grayson Duty mid-season in July on loan from Montreal with Jabang, who's in there tonight. He's played a big role. Here's Duty. Space opens up. Feeds Ngondo. Ngondo over Bennett and cleared. Here's Hammond. Very quiet in the second half, Hammond. Now in extra time, Hammond goes for goal, pulls it just wide. That is the first shot we've seen in quite some time from Sacramento.
Give credit to Trevor Hammond as well. This first touch right here is exquisite. He does not break stride. So now he's running with his head down. No real option, so why not go on to yourself? Just pulls it a little bit wide. But when you strike in between the legs of an opposing center backs, it's a nightmare for a goalkeeper because they see it late.
Sacramento has dealt with some extra time heartbreaks on the time of Mark Briggs the last few years. They avoid one here. And Ngondo, space opens up, and Ngondo implored to shoot by the crowd, but slices it wide.
I think the spacing between Valentino Well and Ngondo is going to be really clever, because if you can draw out both center midfielders, Portillo, Nick Ross, and Luis Felipe, to one side of the field, now you have that central location to pick up your head and to make a play. Misreads it, mishits it, and action he's going to want back.
And Ngondo would play his first game as a 25-year-old if Vegas makes the final. He'll turn 25 on November 20th, 3 days ahead of that final. It's been terrific all year on loan from Vancouver. It's a number 5 pick in the MLS draft back in 2023 out of UNC Greensboro. He did well to step up, not on the same page though as Coleman Gannon.
Exactly what we were talking about, Joe. Now, because there's no real vertical threat from Sacramento Republic, you afford Garczyk and Hafferty to be really aggressive in number one, their positioning, but the ability to step off of their line and squeeze this game to have it being played, and they're attacking third.
Chibi Ukebu in his first playoff game, still holding his ground defensively. I don't want to put too much on the kid, Ricky, but we've talked about it. Look at the line of players who have come through this league. Joshua Winder, Kobe Henry, it's almost feeling like Ukebu's next in that line.
Been really impressive. You can talk about the physical attributes, but the ability to read the game as well, to be his body position right on 1v1 defending. The young man seems to have a massive career ahead of him.
Joe Jiao replaces Solomon Asante. Second time the captain's armband has been handed off tonight. It has traveled from Adams to Asante, now to Joe Jiao. Long throw from Hafferty. He started this whole thing, has it again, Hafferty. Contact there, and the free kick is given to Vegas. A great spot for it, too.
First, it starts with the clever body position of Jabang, but if you're Luis Felipe, there's no need to try to wrap around and win this ball. Move your feet, make him play negative or make him play horizontally. Your job is done. Justin Portillo's right there. Overzealous, and now you afford this man. A couple weeks back, scored a fantastic goal from a similar position against Phoenix Rising. Jay Ngandu.
Four-man wall for Danny Vitiello. Deep breath from Ngandu. It's only one thought here, go for goal. 99th minute, Ngandu puts it right into the wall. Second effort here, floats it through, header on, but saved. Jabang did not get much on it.
Tries to go for a little bit of a dip the way that he approaches it, but the wall does its job. If you're Jabang, if you head this back across that 6-yard box, Corey Bennett is wide open.
I am growing increasingly curious as to when Mark Briggs is going to dip further into his bench. We mentioned it's not a full one tonight. Well, technically it is, but not with the pieces he'd maybe like to have right now. No real attacking options except for Christian Pirano, as Villader skies this one. Not sure what he had in mind there. But coming into tonight, again, Villader, kind of a tweener. He's played as a winger, mostly on the wing back side of things. Then you have four other true defenders and Christian Pirano. So not a lot of attacking talent to dip into for Sacramento. And still, just the one change we've seen.
I do think if you bring in Christian Pirano, the question for Mark Briggs is, who do you pull off? Right, Trevor Hammond, Russell Cicerone, two of the more attacking players on the field. But this player, this game, if you can bring in Pirano, he's going to give you a pocket presence. He's going to give you the ability to break through the pressure that you've been under, your first outlet. So if you're Mark Briggs, I think you want to bring him on, but now who does he bring off? That's a big talking point.
Beside that question, the other question is, do you want to do that? Because right now, yes, Pirano can help alleviate that pressure and drive the attack forward, but also he's not terrific defensively, so do you want to sacrifice somebody that can help defensively? So it's that catch-22 right now for Briggs. Do you want to go ahead and have that attacking option, or do you want to just stay defensively sound as you have been? You've got 20 more minutes to navigate. One thing's for sure, if you get to the last closing minutes of extra time, probably bringing on Pirano for a penalty at least.
Exhibit A right there, no real connection between Russell Cicerone and Trevor Hammond. Tired legs, worked extremely hard on both sides of the ball for 100 minutes now. So decision making, technical ability, the first thing to go with those heavy legs.
That ball stayed in. Luis Felipe covers after Jabang slipped. Ukebu. Villader. Cicerone. Hammond wasn't ready for it. To answer your question, you wonder if it's Cicerone who would get sacrificed for Pirano. He's had some injury issues this year. You mentioned earlier the fitness level. That was a question. Can he go 120? You'd hate to take him off, especially if a penalty is needed to be taken. Logically, that might be your only option if you want to get Pirano into the game without compromising anything defensively. Kebu. Well, this is the longest stretch of time that I think we've seen Sacramento keep the ball in this half of the field now. Final 3 minutes of the first extra time, plus potential stoppage time within the extra time. Viader. He's got the freshest legs, and you can tell Viader, he's buzzing. Space, though, for Joe Jiao. He's got fresh legs as well, just came on. Jiao. Wrong decision, it seemed, to play that ball when he did. Advantage went away. Now Jabang.
To agree with you, Joe. That last action from Joe Jiao is the wrong decision and the wrong timing. It's a 3v2, so when you have a numerical advantage, your number one priority is you need to make one of the Sacramento Republic players step off of their line. And when they start to engage you, that's when you make your action. That's when you play the ball across. Too early, advantage goes the other way.
Almost a miscue at the back here. Just barely holding on. Jared Timmer. Coleman Gannon ready to break through. Now Viader for Sanchez. Squared back behind Cicerone. Ukebu steps, Portillo retrieves. Ammon. Portillo, flag stays down. Ross goes for goal. Ammon, closing seconds of this first extra time. Told there's no additional time in this extra time, so 10 seconds to go. Last attack to play out here for Sacramento before the second extra time. Ukebu trying to get end line, and he runs into some traffic, out for a goal kick. That'll send us to our second extra time. And there is the whistle to a second extra time. We had it still 0-0. Ricky, what's the conversation like between the extra time changeovers here?
Keep it simple, continue to do the small things and pay attention to the small details, because that can make the biggest difference. For Dennis Sanchez, the ball needs to work, the ball needs to move from side to side, because it's clear the legs are heavy. There's going to be stolen rotations, there's going to be lack of communication. That's when the gaps start to open up. And for Mark Briggs, again, how compact can your two lines of four be? And your first pass needs to be forward. You cannot have the ability to continue to connect passes so deep in your box, because that just plays into the hands of the Lights.
Take a look at highlights from that first extra time. It was really one-sided for the first 10 minutes or so before Sacramento found some time in the attacking half, and right from the jump here, thought it was going to happen for Vegas.
Fantastic strike here from Corey Bennett. Takes a wicked bounce and takes off. Danny Vidiello, easy save. Trayman Ammon, he kind of got involved a little bit more as this game has progressed. You want him to stay as high as possible to be the outlet, but yet again, it was the play between Ngandu and Valentino Noel, the understanding of space and where to be and how to be. But if you're Jabang, look at the center location. You have Valentino Noel and you have Corey Bennett right there.
Season going all the way back to March has been special for Las Vegas. You can see the fire in their huddle. Rico Rosarena leading the charge in terms of that energy, more reserved on the other side from Sacramento. They've been there, they've done that. They haven't taken a trophy under Mark Briggs here in this era, but this is a position they've been used to, be it in Open Cup or in these playoffs. They've been here, they've seen it, they've done it, they've fallen on the wrong side of it more often than they would have liked. It's all new for Vegas, never been here. Sometimes it's better to not know what you don't know. Look back on the terrific season it's been, all the history for Vegas, most wins, most points in their club's history. In league history, they enjoyed one of the better unbeaten runs. They enjoyed the second best year-over-year improvement that the league has ever seen at 31 points from last year to this year. Everything from this point on is just the icing on the cake for Vegas. It was interesting, the conversation with Dennis Sanchez. While he sees it that way, he also obviously wants to get as far as he can. So proud of how far they've come, so excited for where they go next. And the only place for them to go right now is into the second 15 of extra time, 0-0 with Sacramento in the opener of the 2024 USL playoffs, brought to you by Terminix. We either have a winner 15 minutes from now, or we go to penalties 15 minutes from now. And we've been with you all night. We'll be with you the rest of the way. It's Ricky Lopez-Espin alongside Joe Malfa. A slate of action coming your way tomorrow. More beyond that on Sunday. Now in the playoffs in November, all culminating with the USL Championship final on November 23rd. Let's go, lights chants ringing up. The night is still young in Vegas. Got about 4 hours until it gets late in Vegas. Played over the top from Noel. Gannon cannot keep it in.
Talked a lot about the attacking phase of this game for both sides, but how good have they been defensively? Box defending from Sacramento Republic. And for the Lights, you see how much it means to every single player. Exhausting everything to maintain a clean sheet.
Holding it up. Flipped over the top. Ross waiting for it, trying to turn past Nigro. Ukebu. At some point, these managers have to start thinking about their penalty taker order as well. Portillo. Nice ball through for Cicerone. Somehow gets it to Ross. Nick Ross squares it back, splits the difference between Cicerone and Felipe. Ukebu tried to keep it alive, rainbowing it through. Now it's Zhao the other way. Ukebu recovers. He has been terrific in the 1v1 defending, even that secondary deflection away. That is a 17-year-old going up against a 33-year-old who spent time at Borussia Dortmund in his career. He is not backing down, Shibi Ukebu. Sorry, I'm aging Joe Zhao. 32 still, 32 still. Hard fall for Sanchez, but he's right back to it. Amin turns, leaves it through, and saved by Rosarena. Not much on the shot as Villader forced his way through. I don't know if that's what Amin intended either. Seemed like he was trying to turn for himself. Ended up as a perfect pass into the path of Villader.
To start this second half of extra time, a little bit more courage and personality here from Sacramento Republic. The willingness to play and to get on the ball a little bit more. Villader gets there right before Nigro comes across. Not really testing a Rosarena.
And a city of calculated risks and gambles. This is where, if you're either coach, do you step up? Do you push for it? Do you risk giving up anything that would be almost a sure loss at this point? With not much time to recover. Or do you just accept penalties? Dealer's got a king, you've got a 13. What to do, what to do. A free kick coming though now for Vegas.
But it's this run for Valentino well yet again. Justin Portillo with his responsibility, he needs to stay like for like. There's a little bit of contact, gets the left arm across the chest area, but Valentino well really clever, makes the most of it. He goes down very easily. Elton Garcia sees a foul. What an opportunity this is for the Lights. Talked about it from this location earlier. You're aiming for that back post head height. If someone can flick it on, if not, can easily squeak in to that far end of the goal.
Ngondo fakes and Ngondo delivers. Not a lot on that header.
Just the distance is just so big from Corey Bennett, the way that he interacts with this ball to generate enough power. Not the best of service from Ngondo.
Goalkeepers have made 3 saves. Technically, Vitiello's made 4. The toughest save of the day. And that point-blank ricochet from Desmond prevented an own goal. Good step from Ukebu. Read it well. Through 112 minutes, he does not show any signs of slowing down. And Sacramento have a special one. Maybe bigger picture as well. On cue, commentators curse commits the foul, but he did get in front of Joe Giao. Just earlier in October was with the US U19s.
First time that we said his body position is wrong. His hips are square, so now he's getting caught flat-footed. Joe Giao has the advantage to go to the end line or to cut centrally. Now you start to see those heavy legs start to play. Silly fouls conceding from Sacramento Republic.
Valentin Noel clips it over the top, and it's a foul against Vegas. 7 minutes from penalties. inside. Ricky, if I were to ask you without looking, please don't cheat, what the expected goals you think are for this game, what would you guess? Have not been a lot of chances. No guess?
No guess.
You don't want to play?
I don't want to play.
It's 0.98 for Sacramento, 0.4 for Vegas, and that's, of course, with the benefit of an extra 25 minutes so far as well. It has been tight. It has looked like a playoff game without either side wanting to give an inch. Now Joe Zhao takes a mile and puts it in front. Cleared away. Nigro off the head of Ross, and he needs a moment.
It's good refereeing from Melton Garcia. Stop play immediately when a head injury occurs. Top priority is the health of these players. Joe Zhao, a little change of pace, but notice how Ukebu does not lunge in. The composure. So in doing that, now you afford the Sac players to just frame that 6-yard box. No real avenue for Corey Bennett to find space. Yet again, fantastic defending from the visiting side.
Old school approach from Mark Briggs. Still has used just one sub. Now Ngando from the corner. Ever since the post-COVID days where governing bodies switched from 3 to 5 subs, this is rare to see. Only one use for Sacramento. Here's Ngando cutting, going for goal. Seen the whole way by Vidiello.
Just tries to wrong foot him. Because when players cut in, keepers tend to start to cheat. Because most times, they try to bend it into that far post. It tries to go back across in between the legs of Nick Ross. Easy save for Vidiello yet again.
Surprised we still have not seen Pirano?
Very. Especially with the heavy legs throughout the back of the Las Vegas Lights. His quick movements, low center of gravity can cause some issues.
Could be some issues here. Cicerone with the quick feet almost found a way through. Good step again from Ukebu. Such a good read of the game. Final 3 minutes. Now you're starting to get to the point where you wonder if either side makes subs for penalty purposes as well. Teams spend the time the week leading up in training on those penalties, trying to simulate the environment if they can.
Been the man of the match, Ukebu, for Sacramento Republic. That last action as well has to leave Joe Zhao to come supply a little bit of support. Picks the pocket of Valentino well. What a performance the young man has have 118 minutes in.
Have not been to penalties in the USL Championship playoffs since 2017, Sacramento. Did it in 16 and 17 back-to-back years. Lost one, won one. Bennett out wide. Step over here. The shot off the post. Rebound finds Ngando. Ngando looking far post, and it's wide. Dangerous step off the back line. Created that whole play. Then Gannon had the chance. Vidiello get a piece of it, maybe, to touch it onto the post. Either way, nearly the winner for Vegas.
It's the intent that Coleman Gannon gets this ball with, knows exactly what he wants to do. Create a little bit of separation, but what a touch that is for Vidiello to come across his near post, to push it wide enough to hit off of the post as well. Coleman Gannon, fantastic action in the attacking phase of this game. Going at Sanchez, putting him on his heels in his attacking 18-yard box. And just go for power.
Jiao forgot the ball. 120th minute. This is setting the tone for the rest of the playoffs here. Might debut in the 2024 postseason with penalties. Not if Coleman Gannon has anything to say about it here. Flex cleared out for a throw. Vegas doesn't have a penalty history to speak of. Again, first ever playoff appearance here. Jiao, maybe the last chance before penalties. Noel. This does not start going toward goal directionally. Elton Garcia might just blow the whistle. We're at 120. Jiao, end line, Ukebu. It is a goal kick. They did add a minute of stoppage time here in extra time.
This is really tight. You do think Joe Jiao gets the better part of Ukebu here. That's a foul. That's a foul. No play on the ball the first time. Or second time, excuse me, he creates a little bit of separation. Elton Garcia misses this one.
.120 have come and gone. An additional minute has come and gone. 0-0 between Vegas and Sacramento. Opening game of the 2024 USL playoffs brought to you by Terminix. And will they let this sub in here? They wanted to get Shane Wheat in there for penalties. Did Mark Briggs wait too long? Elton Garcia thinking about it. Is he gonna let this sub happen? It looks like he will. He just got it in on time. Jared Timmer take it off. Shane Wheat comes on. That is only the second sub used tonight by Sacramento, and clearly just for a penalty. They rode 12 players, 120 minutes. And through 120, we are goalless. We head to a shootout to determine who goes home and who goes through between Las Vegas and Sacramento. What a way to start the 2024 USL playoffs. We'll be back in just a moment for the start of the shootout.
As a Great Clips salon stylist, I love giving customers the look they want. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details, so it's one less thing for you to worry about. And when I see that confidence at the end of the cut, that's everything to me.
As a stylist, I know it can be hard to find time for a haircut. With the Great Clips app, you can put your name on the list from anywhere and head to the salon when it's time for your cut. A great haircut plus more time for what you love. That's Great Clips.
Hello, my name is Ramon Martin del Campo, City of Henderson police officer and former Las Vegas Lights team captain. My mother, Susie, desperately waited for a second chance after years of fighting kidney disease. Through a paired kidney exchange program, she was able to receive the gift of life through transplant. Currently, about 85% of Americans waiting need a kidney transplant. I am a living kidney donor. Nevadans are giving. Join us at wearenevadans.org.
We are ready for penalties here between Vegas and Sacramento. It's the first ever USL playoff game for Las Vegas. Sacramento's been here a few times. It's only their third time, though, into a shootout. Sacramento did it once in 2016, once in 2017. They lost in 2016, won in 2017. Got more experience in the shootout in Open Cup as well. Think back to the semifinal in 2022 at home when they got past Sporting Kansas City and made it into the US Open Cup Finals. So as far as shootout experience goes, it tilts Sacramento's way. As far as maybe the stars aligning and how the season has gone, Have to think that goes Las Vegas's way in the record-setting season it's been for these Lights under Dennis Sanchez. It is in fate's hands now, as these teams will decide it from 12 yards out. These moments before the shootout, Ricky, you're really two different schools of thought. You're either a kick taker who's starting to go through that process mentally, or you're somebody who's not taking a kick, hoping it maybe doesn't get to you, but also hoping that the team in front of you can get it done.
You trust your training, you trust your execution, and the most important thing is to be composed. You do not want to be rushed. You do not want to let everything outside of the white lines impact you mentally, physically. Every single one of these players from 12 yards out can put the ball exactly where they want to. So now it's a mental side of the game that comes in, the double days in training, the fitness, the weight room, everything that you did not want to do comes to this point. Who's going to take this opportunity with both hands and execute it?
Two goalkeepers in Raiko Rosarena and Danny Vitiello have shown an ability to stop penalties in this league. Two really good shot-stopping goalkeepers in general. Rosarena missed some time in mid-October on international duty with Cuba. 14 caps. Started their last Nations League game back on October 15th. Danny Vitiello coming into this one. Sacramento's all-time clean sheet leader, a two-time Golden Glove winner in this league. Last year's goalkeeper of the year and may win that award again. So in a situation in the shootout where a lot of the spotlight shines on the goalkeepers, we have two of the best in the league in this one.
Let's not forget, Joe, in this box where they've elected to take the penalty shootout from a lot of slippage. So security in your supporting foot, it's something to watch out for.
I think back earlier in the game, that shot that Christian Pinzon had that went over the bar, that only did so because he slipped so badly, and he only beat Ukebu to take the shot because Ukebu slipped. So shootout will happen at this end, which has been sloppy and has been difficult. And they're trying to find the penalty spot here on this slick surface. Coin toss determines, but the referee does, in the rules, to my knowledge at least, have the discretion to change it if the field is not in shape. So you wondered if Elton Garcia might tap into that power, but we are going to have this shootout from this end, and Justin Portillo will get it started. Portillo, 9th all-time in minutes in this league, 8th in appearances, 11th in assists. Been there, done that, Portillo. Will start us off against the Rosarena. They're clearing out some of the ball boys, and fans who have gotten behind the goal here to take this one in cannot be set up there. Here we go. Portillo, quick run up and saved by a Rosarena, wasting no time to showcase his shot-stopping abilities.
Short run up from Justin Portillo, but notice his hips, how quickly he closes them. It's a comfortable height from Rosarena, not tucked in the corner nearly well enough. What a way to send a message for the goalkeeper for the Lights.
Corey Bennett will step up next. 14 goals this season. Quiet night overall. As a striker after 120 minutes of nothing really falling your way, now you have to score. That's not easy mentally. Elton Garcia having to come over to check between each penalty to make sure it's on the spot. It really isn't the spot, it's just that dirt patch there. Long run up coming here for Bennett. Mind games from Vitiello pointing to each post. Which way is it gonna be? Long wait here from Bennett. Corey Bennett, saved by Vitiello! Started this up by saying it's two of the best goalkeepers in this league. Both really good in the shootout, and both with saves to start things off.
Just not a fan of the long run up, because now you can overthink it. You give Vitiello the ability to read the body language, and yet again, it's a really comfortable height for Vitiello, not in the corner whatsoever, very central location.
Tommy Villader steps up next on a day where legs have seemed to be very heavy in the second half, and then extra time His set of legs would be among the fresher sets, subbed on later. Got score this year at 2 goals last year. Wing back and midfielder. Packs an attacking punch. Left-footed taker against the Rosarena. For the first conversion of the shootout, saved again! Goalkeepers are 3 for 3 out of the gates.
Just never looks up, Villader. Head down, eyes on the ball the whole way. Not once does you read the body position of a Rosarena. And he goes early. Fantastic save. Yet again from the goalkeeper for the Las Vegas Lights.
Now JC Ngando steps up. Could argue he's probably been the MVP all year long for this Vegas team. Some big moments tonight. On loan from Vancouver. Is there finally a goal in the shootout? Or does Villiello go blow for blow with the Rosarena? Long wait from Ngando. Here he goes. Ngando denied by Villiello. It is a showcase of the goalkeeping. 4 for 4.
Just tremendous. Coming into a shootout, you want your goalkeeper to make at least 1 save. After 4, they're perfect. Not convincing whatsoever. Just lack of belief and venom in that shot from Ngando. Villiello makes no mistake about the save.
And now what does this do for the mentality of every kick taker now, seeing that there's been 4 shots all saved? Russell Cicerone is the next one to step up. Makes a little mound with the sand as if he's playing beach soccer here. Cicerone saved again! Never have I ever seen anything like this. 5 in a row out of the gates.
Insanity. How good both of these goalkeepers have been. And it's acrobatic from Rosarena, because initially he overcommits. He has to reach back and behind him to make this save. Fantastic athletic ability.
First to score wins. The way this shootout's gone, Coleman Gannon steps up. He had the best chance during the actual play, hit the post. Coleman Gannon, finally somebody tucks it home. Some words for Villiello afterwards, and Vegas has a lead.
First time that we see someone composed. Little peek over his left shoulder, sees Villiello. He goes one way, I go the other. Strikes it with class, authority. Draws first blood.
Was wondering what it would take for a ball to enter the net tonight. Didn't see it through 120. Didn't see it through 5 penalties. Finally the 6th, we got it done, and now it's Nick Ross. Another veteran player for Sacramento. He's been in these situations before. Rosarena unstoppable right now. Ross finally beats him.
Well taken from Nick Ross. No nonsense, the way that he steps up to it. Just wraps his foot around it. Look how tightly into that corner is. Rosarena actually gets a piece on it.
He got a piece of it.
He actually makes contact on it. The goalkeeper's gonna want this one back to push it wide of that near post.
Up steps Grayson Duty, joined on loan with Usman Jabang, just to change the complexion of this Vegas team in the latter half of the season. 10th overall pick in this past year's MLS draft, Grayson Duty, out of UCLA. Had a goal and 4 assists in his 13 games after coming in July on loan. He scores here, it puts Vegas on the brink. Either a stop or a score in the 5th round would do it. He misses or it's stopped, we're back to even going into the 5th round. Duty does his duty, and he has Vegas on the brink.
But notice how he takes a little bit off of it. So now he is baiting Vidiello to step off of his line. Slow run up, throws the timing all off, and simply just guides it into the corner. Fantastic pen from Duty.
Luis Felipe has to score. Rosarena has saved 3 and gotten a piece of the 4th. Another stop. Vegas has its first ever playoff win and its first ever playoff game. Scoring, Felipe, no trouble. Can still win it here next, Vegas, with a goal of their own.
Just class from Luis Felipe. Experience, confident. It's always a risk when you like to go high. When Rosarena dives out of their way, shoulders are always over the bar.
Fitting that is Valentin Noel, player that Dennis Sanchez brought over with him from Austin. They won a title together last year in MLS Next Pro. Was one of the first players that he wanted to bring here. Rewarded his coach. 10 goals and 7 assists this season. Was the Cup-winning MVP last year. Now he could give Vegas its first ever USL playoff victory. Vidiello to try and keep Sacramento alive. Valentin Noel, jackpot! Vegas is through to the Western Conference semifinal. The two ends of the emotional spectrum. Celebrations for Vegas, 1,000-yard stares on the Sacramento side. And a season of firsts for this Las Vegas Lights organization. A first playoff win. And Sacramento, been in a tailspin down the stretch, didn't win a game in October. At one point thought they'd be the 1 seed. They go home, a first-round exit.
Your big-time players to stand up in big-time moments. 10 goals, 7 assists on this season. Never bothered. Knows exactly where he's going to go. The way that he opens up his hips and simply just passes it. Vidiello goes the wrong way, and you see what it means collectively for the Las Vegas Lights.
Not really much of a question here as to who the man of the match is. Tonight's hardest working man of the match brought to you by Laborers International, the hardest working guys in Vegas. This guy, he saved 3 penalties and got a piece of a 4th. It is a performance for the ages in a shootout, a star-making performance for Raiko Rosarena.
We mentioned it earlier. You want your goalkeeper to make 1 save at that. Saves 3. Fantastic performance from Rosarena. And he is the reason why they advance into the next round of the Western Conference playoffs.
Be back in a moment to wrap things up as the celebration continues here at Cashman Field. It's Las Vegas through in the shootout.
For over 85 years, Labor's Local 872 and Las Vegas have teamed up to change the world of entertainment, sports, and economic development. Labor's Local 872 is a proud member of Team Vegas. From 1937 to today, Local 872 has been moving Las Vegas forward. Our members built the Hoover Dam Extension Bridge, finished City Center, expanded our roads, and made Vegas the biggest stage in sports. Vegas is ready. It's game time.
We live in one of the driest cities in the nation. Let's live in the desert, not in denial. Saving water is desert living. Do your part to conserve water. Visit snwa.com.
At Silver State Schools Credit Union, we help you celebrate life's little moments and guide you through the big ones. Earn 2% cash back on every purchase with our Cashback Rewards credit card.
Silver State Schools Credit Union, your financial partner for life.
Mi raza bonita. Desde 1991 hemos compartido nuestras tradiciones mexicanas. Desde muy temprano, nuestros panaderos empiezan a elaborar los bolillos y el pan dulce. Y las tortillas todos los días salen calientitas. Le digo algo, mi raza bonita, lo que está hecho en La Bonita, está hecho en Las Vegas.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Nevada Donor Network, Desert Radiology, and U.S. Bank. Celebration just picking up here in Vegas, all circled up around Rico Rosarena. Impassioned speech starting from Dennis Sanchez. It has been a year of firsts and climbing past new hurdles for Las Vegas, and they do it yet again, winning in a shootout in their first ever playoff game. For Sacramento, just stinging defeat on the other end.
Deserved from the Las Vegas Lights. They were on the ball, they were creating opportunities. The Sacramento Republic mostly defending, and that's how we arrived into set pieces. Who was going to step up? Who was going to be the player to make the play? Talk about the field conditions. So that was a big talking point through the remainder of the whole match.
Especially then in the shootout, players had to contend with it, but they also had to contend with Rico Rosarena. Made the save of the game, brought to you by Nevada Donor Network. Remember, you can save a life at registerme.org. This one on Cicerone, the best one. He reached back and grabbed it.
Yeah, he overcommits. He actually outjumps it, but the athletic ability, the technical ability, and the vision to reach back to keep it from walking over that goal line. You see the passion. Then who's going to step up? It's been your playmaker for this whole season. Cool as you would like. Pressure not an issue. A little jawing after the Vidiello off to the corner to celebrate because the Las Vegas Lights just advanced into the next round of the USL playoffs.
Take a look at the full-time stats brought to you by U.S. Bank. There were plenty of shots in this game. A few big saves made by both goalkeepers. In the end, we needed penalties to decide it, and it was a very, very hard-fought battle to kick off the postseason.
I think if you are Mark Briggs, you have to be tremendously proud of your side because you came into this game and you did not want to let Las Vegas Lights get any sort of rhythm. So defending, that was going to be a top priority. You did that. But now you didn't execute from 12 yards out, and that's where you have a little bit of frustration. But Joe, give credit to Dennis Sanchez. You stay true to your identity. You continue to push and push and push. You find the winner through Penn, and now you play the winner of the New Mexico and Phoenix Rising.
La Bonita Supermarkets, look at the bracket here. That's it. It's New Mexico or Phoenix here in the West coming up next for Vegas. That game is on Sunday. Put you on the spot. Who's playing Vegas in the next round?
Phoenix Rising.
I think I agree.
Yeah.
I think we could see another upset of that caliber. We see pretty much every year a 1 or 2 seed go down. That might be the one. How about the other side?
I think we see the Switchbacks, and then we see Orange County.
Could be a very fun weekend that just started here in the 2024 USL playoffs, brought to you by Terminix. We were thrilled to have you with us the whole way. It was a great way to start this postseason. This game had everything but goals, and the drama built late. Great way to kick things off here in 2024. For the crew that makes this possible, broadcast partner Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Joe Malva saying so long for now. Return tomorrow for a full day of USL playoff action. Good night, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.